Hello, lovely people, and welcome to Streamers and Stories episode 4. Today we have the amazing Desca Gaming, MissFiefie, and MissVadams. Now let's the streamers introduce themselves. Desca, do you want to start?
Oh, no pressure. Yes, of course. Hi, I'm Desca. First of all, thank you so much for having me, for having all of us. I'm really looking forward to today. And I think those clips said a lot already about all of us. Um, I
Cheese is
am
good
28.
against fires.
Oh, yeah. So I'm 28. I've been streaming for a little over a year now. And I started in cosplay, then kind of accidentally became a streamer. It's been a lot of fun. I see some names in chat already where I'm like, hey guys. And yeah, I'm a variety streamer. I used to stream every single day. I'm trying to get back to that. But yeah, I somehow became a Minecraft streamer. Don't know how that happened, but other than that, a lot of horror games and like Stardew Valley, that kind of stuff. So yeah, and the rest we'll uncover through the rest of the stream.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here. Miss Fifi, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. MissFiefie. I'm from South Africa. I'm a full-time streamer. I I was one of those lockdown streamers. I started streaming when lockdown started, April 2020. And now I'm here, and I'm just mostly do single player stuff, and basically anything that's not a competitive shooter I play. I'm also a huge geography nerd and a bit of a fantasy author.
Awesome. Fantasy author as well.
Hmm.
And then
Yes.
Then we go from one Miss to the other one. Miss Vadams, welcome.
I almost answered on behalf of MissFiefie then. Hi, my name is Vic, or MissVadams. My pronouns are she, her, and I play survival, crafting, building management games. I'm often doing multiplayer stuff on servers as well. I'm UK based, and a bit like MissFiefie, I'm a lockdown streamer, started streaming. I say accidentally. I mean, it was a purposeful thing to begin with, but it kind of ended up becoming a full-time affair about 2 years ago, but I think I've been at it now for 4.5 years, so quite a bit of time. Yeah, that's pretty much me. I think the clips sum it up pretty well.
Thank you so much for that introduction. I think I feel like the clip compilation gets longer every episode because Shadows is really feeling it with those edits. Absolutely amazing. We already know, thanks to the clips, that all of you like to play games. I would love to start with the first game. Oh no, wait, I will introduce myself. It's in my notes, but I always forget. Hi! For the people who don't know me, I'm Viev. This is my channel. I had a master's degree in anthropology, but accidentally tumbled into streaming. And one of the things I missed most from anthropology is sharing people's stories and talking with people and like knowing what makes people tick. And now I can do both. That's how Streamers and Stories started. And I love that we have guests that help, share stories and make this all possible. I'm a variety streamer for the past 7 years now, and mostly I'm playing World of Warcraft, cute indie games. I love visual novels and management games. So welcome all of you in chat. Thank you so much for being here. Now, I would love to know from our lovely guest, what was the very first game you've ever played? Miss Fifi, do you want to start?
Oh, geez. This would have been maybe 1990. I played. I don't know what the first ever game that I played, but it would have been an old Sierra adventure game, maybe, or like the point and click ones, or it would have been like the first SimCity, maybe. It was around there. It was the early 90s. I think it was probably like 91 was the first time. But it would have been one of those. It would have been like the first SimCity, or like one of the Sierra. It's probably been one of the Sierra games, or like Commander Keen, or like the very first Duke Nukem, or one of those old platformers from that
Quite a
time.
lot of games back then already, I hear. Awesome.
Yes, there was a lot.
playing Lemmings. I
You
don't
were
know if it's the
playing.
first game I
Yes.
played, but I remember Lemmings.
I don't know Lemmings. Is that really bad?
Me
I
neither.
will send you Lemmings when we're done. You
Okay,
should experience it.
Fantastic.
I will
It's addictive.
experience it. And you, Desca, what was your first game?
Oh, well, my dad's not really a gamer, and I only have a sister, so for me, it took a while to get into actual like gaming. But the first things that I can remember is watching my dad play mostly Red Alert and Knights and Merchants. Now, I loved Knights and Merchants. And I would sit in his lap as he built these beautiful towns. You get the resources, you get the people, you have the horses, and then you build an army. But at the point he had to go and attack, I would always run away crying because I was scared he was gonna
Oh.
die. So I
Oh
wouldn't watch
no.
that part.
That's
Yeah, so I
such a
kept him
cute
from
story.
finishing for a very long time. He would just like mess around. I guess we'll make another stable. Otherwise, I have a crying kid. Like half an hour before you go to bed, I can finish the game after.
Oh.
But I did play that quite a lot myself eventually. But before that, the first like actual game that I played a lot was 101 Dalmatians.
Oh,
And
I remember that.
it was so good. Like for those of you who know, like there's the bad guys that run after the puppies with like a big net, very cartoonish, trying to catch them. And my sister is about 2.5 years younger, so I had to do the luring the scary guys away part for her. But I would always mess around. If you just run, you're too fast and they lose aggro. So you have to stop so they catch up because it's a kid's game. And I would turn around like, oh no, he's coming, he's coming. So then I would make my sister cry and we'd have a full circle. Like my dad made me cry, I got traumatized, I made her cry. So that's how I got into gaming.
It's okay. Perfect. That's a great circle of crying that ended up now with you becoming a streamer. I love it.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, and Red Alert, I also played a lot. I have fond memories of Command and Conquer, and for me, it was mostly Heroes of Might and Magic 3 as well, which I still stream occasionally. We've been going through the whole campaign. I see MissVadams being super happy. You played that one
Yeah.
as well.
It was one of my first games I ever played, but it was I played Heroes of Might and Magic 1 and 2
Oh,
as demos because my dad used to get the PC demo magazine, and yeah, it used to have loads of strategy games in. So I think that must have been 1994, 1995. Playing 1 and 2 mainly for me, yeah, and Caesar 3 as well was an early memory. So as a result of that, for years I used to love strategy and building games. So I also did things like SimCity. I remember Theme Park World coming out and all of that. And I think the first full game I ever owned myself, I remember persuading my parents to get me The Sims in 2001. And that was the first full game I owned. And I was so happy and I sunk so many hours into that. But before then, it was all kind of strategy demos and stuff. Yeah.
same. A lot of
Yeah.
strategy. And then
wanna know.
I also got The Sims and Roller Coaster Tycoon 2
Yeah.
or something like
of course,
that.
Roller Coaster
Okay,
Tycoon.
I
So
have
good.
to ask, how long did it take you guys to figure out you could like add the lions to the people in Zoo Tycoon or take away the ladders, you know?
I
Roller
didn't do
coaster,
any
like
of that.
just
I
crash
was very
everything.
well behaved.
Oh, really?
I
I
didn't
was
realize
also with
until
The
I was an adult
Sims.
that
I
that was a
wanted them
thing.
to survive. I was a very bad kid. I
Yeah.
definitely have issues, but I want them to succeed in life. So apparently, that makes you a psycho. If you kill your Sims, you're fine. But people like me, who just want your Sims to grow old happily, that's apparently a very odd thing to do.
It's like
Yeah, I would
playing
try. I would
GTA
try
and
and make
stopping
my
for the traffic lights.
yeah.
And you,
I would yeah,
Fifi?
exactly. I would try my best to let my Sims do well and survive, but you know, you fail at it.
I do feel
Sometimes
like
very
I played
spectacularly.
the re-release recently with The Sims 1 and Sims 2. And in both The Sims 1 and Sims 2, within 2 days, the husband would die because he was like cooking dinner and would catch fire. Like I did it on stream, first with The Sims
Classic.
1, then with Sims 2. So I think I'm just really bad at the game. Yeah.
Harder
That's
than the more
also
recent
entertaining.
Sims, though. Like in the Sims 1, it's just wake up,
It's
eat,
ruthless,
go to
yeah.
work, shower, bed, and it's just like the same thing, and you hardly have time to do anything else.
But in
Yeah.
The Sims 1, they are very, very demanding. Like,
Yeah.
you'd be, okay, he just slept. Nice. Oh, he has to go to the bathroom. Oh, he's like socially super sad. Then he has to sleep again. Then he has to shower. And you're so busy with trying to get them in the green, that there's no time to even, try to make them happy. They just have to be okay. But before
Yeah.
we stay with first games and all this nostalgia, I'm really curious. Out of all games, what would you call your all-time favorite game and why? MissVadams, do you want to start?
That's really hard. Does it have to be one? Can it be 10?
You can choose the one that
I
feels best
recently made
today.
a
We
top
all
10.
know. Yeah.
I think it's really hard because some games are very nostalgic for me, and for that reason alone, they hold a very special place in my heart. So things like Heroes of Might and Magic, Caesar, Sims, but now I don't tend to play as many simulation games or strategy. I kind of moved over into survival crafting more so. And the game that I have sunk the most hours into and that kind of brought me about doing streaming really as a career, I streamed it pretty solidly for about 2 years, is Ark. And I got into that game because of dinosaurs primarily. Love dinosaurs.
Makes sense.
But also I remember when we went into the first lockdown, when COVID first happened, it was free on Epic Games. So I thought, okay, well, I'm bored. I've been made redundant. I don't have anything to do. Let's just check it out. And I have, yeah. If there was one game that I could just wipe my memory of and play all over again, it would be that, hands down. I think, yeah.
That's awesome. Are you still playing it? Yes, right?
Yeah, I don't play it as much as I used to. I do a lot more variety these days. But I was playing it yesterday actually. I did a sponsored stream. It was my first ever sponsored stream by the dev team, and it was like a really big moment for me. You know,
Yeah,
my
that
favorite
sounds
game. And they
amazing.
said, "Hey,
Oh.
yeah," they had a DLC come out, and they said, "Do you want to do some promo for it?" And I said, "Hell yeah." So I teamed up with a friend of mine, and we kind of had what's called a tame-a-thon, which is where we tried to see how many dinosaurs each of us could tame within 4 hours, and then whoever got the most won. So
How
yeah,
many
I was really
dinos
enjoying
did you
it
get?
Did you
yesterday.
win?
No, I didn't
Did
win.
Ah.
I lost by 4 points. I was quite sad at that.
But did you win having the most fun?
I did have a lot of fun, and I did troll my teammates, so
That's really
it's all good.
awesome. And congrats on having like one of your all-time favorite games sponsor you. That's huge. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
it was really, really cool.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Desca, what is your all-time favorite video game and why?
That is so mean to ask. It's like asking a parent, like, "What's your favorite child?"
I would do that
I
too as
don't
well.
know.
Just
There's, like, different answers for different vibes, I would say.
what's your vibe
Like,
today?
okay, honorable mention for Detroit Become Human, because that was one heck of a game. I think the game that has, like, stuck with me most is it's not a very well-known thing. It's, When the Darkness Comes. I'm pretty sure it's free on Steam. It deals with very, like, heavy topics. It literally starts with the guy saying, "This is not a game. I made this to visualize how anxiety and, like,
Oh,
depression and everything feels for me." And when I played it for the first time, at some point I had to stop 'cause it got too real for me as well, and, like, with the audio cues and everything, like, I started feeling anxiety. I was like, "Oh my god, this dude is crazy." That was definitely the one that made the most impact. Um, and then completely different game that I will always come back to is Stardew Valley. So, yeah, I don't know, I can't
you
pick
already named
one.
3. I think you
Safe top 3.
you got it. Awesome. Thank
Different
you.
reasons, different games.
And MissFiefie, what about you?
Well, for me, let me just qualify it by saying it's the same situation. It's impossible
I know,
because
it's a
to just
terrible
pick one.
question.
But no, it's a great question still because it gives you idea of what people like, right? I think if I had to, just for the sake of actually answering the question, I would say I have a game that really just, especially after like it's a game that didn't launch very well, but over time it became one of the best games ever. And for me, it's up there as one of my best games of all time is actually Cyberpunk. And I would say that's up there. I don't know. There's something special about that world for me in the way it plays. And also, this is a weird one that a lot of people wouldn't expect from anyone. GeoGuessr.
You
I
said
love,
geography nerd. That makes sense.
love GeoGuessr. Yeah, I play GeoGuessr every single day.
Are you
What's your
good
high
at
score?
it? Because I've seen some people play it, and then I look at it, and I'm like, wait, how do people even know in
Like
which?
rainbow levels.
It's crazy.
I'm decent at it. I'm pretty decent at it, I
I
gotta
see in
say,
chat that you're a god at GeoGuessr, so maybe not decent, but a little bit better. She's
Yeah,
exceptional.
I'm decent at
I
it.
think we
I'm
should
okay at
ask chat and not you. I
Too
assume
humble.
I'm
chat
okay at it.
knows.
Chat should just shut up. I am okay at it.
No, that's good. And well, we talked a little bit about Desca, how you got into gaming with, sitting on the lap of your father watching games. MissFiefie, how did you get into gaming?
Yeah, this was like 600 years ago. That's I want to say, I don't know. I've always been like a PC gamer. So when I was little, we had like a PC and we were on DOS. And I guess my uncle was was very much in like the business of PC. So he was like one of the first people in the country, literally, to bring PCs over here and be like being in it. He became like a millionaire in it eventually. But he sort of, you know, sold us our first PC as a family, and then he showed us how to play games and what to type into DOS to launch the games, and he gave us a bunch of games, and I guess that's how I got into it. And then it's just been that ever since, really. I just loved it from then. I think I was maybe 5,
Awesome. That's so cool to
maybe
so
4,
early already
maybe 4 or
start.
5. Yeah. Yeah. So I've been doing it for decades. And yeah, I guess it was because of my uncle being in that world, in that business, and introducing our family to it, really.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you, MissVadams, how did you get into gaming?
My story is very similar to Desca's, actually. I don't remember what game it was, but I remember as a kid watching my dad play PC games, and there was a game that just had loads of lights. It was some kind of like first person kind of RPG type thing. I don't know. And I remember saying, Dad, can you play lights, please? I want to watch you play lights. I still don't know what that game was called. But I remember him playing things like Unreal and Hexen and stuff like that. And a bit like you, Desca, I would get really upset if he died. So I'd get so sad. And he's like, do you want to play? And I was like, yes, I do. But I don't want to die in the game because the monsters are scary. So he would always put me in God mode. And I would just go
Perfect.
around completely invincible. But yeah, I
W
must have
dad
been
right there.
about... Yeah, I
It's
must have
so
been like
cool.
4 or
All these
5.
parents that game. I cannot
Yeah.
imagine my mom gaming.
Hey,
Like,
I
Oh,
was
my
My
about
mom
to
mom
likes
say,
neither.
farm sim and stuff like that.
having parents a game is a foreign concept to me.
that's
I get it.
so cool,
It's very
though.
cool, though. Yeah, it's great.
And then I would like to get a little bit into streaming. And what made, well, actually, I think you all already said what got you into streaming. We have 2 Corona babies, and we have Desca, who moved from cosplaying into streaming. But still, I would quickly go through it because even a Corona baby has like, why streaming? MissVadams, do you want to start?
Yeah. Well, so I've done a lot of different things in my life, career-wise, and I would say my main career before, because I've had many before streaming, was I was training as an opera singer, and I was kind of starting to get work. I was doing a lot of classical and choral singing as well. And
Is there anywhere we can see that?
not really.
Yes.
There are some recordings that exist, but they're very old, and a lot of them are from when I was a student. So
Next sub goal,
yes,
singing
if you
stream.
look
Let's
hard
go.
enough, they are there. But yeah, I mean, a lot of that work couldn't take place during COVID because when you sing, you are spreading your breath everywhere, and it
Yeah.
just wasn't conducive to that period of time. So I lost a lot of my work, and I felt like I needed a creative outlet. I was very bored. I like gaming, and just as a means to simply have a creative outlet, I started streaming. I didn't really think about it in the sense of I might make money from this, or I might even make a living from it.
Just to do something creative.
Yeah, just to do something creative. And there's a lot of transferable skills, in terms of the way you use your voice your entertainment skills, all of those things. And also organization comes into it a lot because my musical work was all self-employed stuff. So it just kind of fell in naturally. And I think it was also luck because of having the time inside from COVID. It then allowed me the time and the space to kind of build some momentum.
Do you
streaming.
sing on stream?
Very badly. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I kind of do this thing where I pretend I can't sing. So I'm pretty sure my community truly believe I'm a terrible singer at this point in time.
Because you're on
there's
purpose singing bad.
Yeah. I don't know if it's an ADHD thing, but just kind of as you're doing something in game, you just kind of like start singing what you're doing.
Yeah.
You just like spontaneous, like making up, and I always sing it really bad. But I don't. Maybe I've sung seriously once or twice as a kind of subathon goal.
So when's your next
Very
subathon?
rarely. Yeah, maybe in July. I'm not gonna
Okay,
tell you when it
maybe
is
in
now.
July we will hear you sing again then.
Yeah.
I look forward to that. MissFiefie, how did you get into streaming?
I actually never ever watched Twitch or streamers. It wasn't part of my consciousness at all. But then I played what was it? I played Red Dead Online. It was a Red Dead Redemption 2 with the online bit. I played that just like every night with some, and I made some people in the game and played. Made a group of friends, joined a Discord server there, and started playing with them every night. We would do all kinds of stuff, and then I would always come up with fun little games for us to do in the game. Fun little things for us to do. Everybody get in a carriage and we'll drive off a cliff, or everyone get in the carriage and we'll see how many other players we can just pick up and hang on to the carriage as long as we can. So it's like 30 people on a carriage, just fun stuff like that. And I would always come up with these ideas, and I would always make them fun. And then the people I played with started telling me, you should really start streaming this stuff. And I was like live streaming, like what gamers do. And I was like, and they were like, yeah, you should do it. It would be entertaining, because they were entertained and I was having a blast. And then I was like, okay, maybe one day. This was right before COVID. And then when COVID happened and lockdown happened, I was like, well, if there's any time to start, it would be now. So let's, people have been telling me to do it, so let me do it. So I started doing it, and it was a lot of fun. And I actually saw reasonable success in it pretty early on. I had partner in 8 months, and
That's
what happened
impressive.
was I decided, you know what, I'm just going to do this full time. So I dropped everything else and just was like, you know what, let me just go all in on this. And then that's what I did.
That's
couple
so
of months in.
fun. I love that. I'm
Yeah.
happy I went back to the question because I thought, oh, we already kind of had that. But these are two really cool stories. Thank you for sharing. How about you, Desca? How did you get into streaming from being a cosplayer?
Well, the funny part is I was originally I used to watch a lot of videos specifically from Spuzzy these days. He played League of Legends, and I think we all have that one thing that like drags you through your darkest days. Like, doesn't matter what happens, you get home and for me it was those videos. I would see that Spuzzy had uploaded a new video, and I can't even talk about it without smiling. That would make my entire day. And I wanted to do something like that as well, because I knew a regular office job was going to be terrible. I would be miserable. My boss would not be happy. No one would win. So I wanted to make videos for YouTube. And then I figured I'll just become a streamer. It's going to be great. And then we moved houses, and we were stuck in the backyard in like campers for about half a year. So I didn't have a computer. I didn't really have the space to put one if I got one. And then out of desperation, like, I guess I'll become a cosplayer and make cosplay videos. At least I can do those by myself. And then I loved cosplay way more than I expected. At first, it was just to have like a way to create videos. And then I kind of did that for a couple years with Saku. She's absolutely amazing, my best friend, and we worked together for a lot of those years. And then I kind of started streaming on the side, Then I stopped again, and last year I picked it back up. So yeah, it just all kind of happened, but I was originally supposed to start as a video gamer slash streamer on YouTube, Twitch. So it took a detour, but I got there eventually.
That's
So
really
yeah.
cool. And now you discovered your love for cosplaying.
Mhm.
That's really
Yeah, because
nice.
I don't think I would have gotten into it as much otherwise. Like I would have maybe dabbled, but not in a way because I got a camera, I started learning how to do lights, how to write scripts. I got other people involved, and that's how I met Saku actually. Because I was like, she's a professional, she has the time and the money to invest in this. Because I can't ask my friends to just travel halfway across the country every other weekend just to film some videos for my YouTube, you know.
Mhm.
And then we became friends, and yeah, that wouldn't have happened otherwise, I think. So
That's really
yeah.
awesome. But that's the thing with Twitch, like a lot of things wouldn't have happened otherwise. It is absolutely
Mhm.
amazing how all these things get connected. My story is a bit more like Fifi. I had a friend that just told me like you should start streaming, you're entertaining. And I was like, I never saw a Twitch streamer. I've never been on Twitch before I started streaming. And then I thought, okay, you know what? I actually would love to work on my English. And that's how I started streaming 7 years ago because I started this pre-master and it was all in English. And I was sitting in class and I didn't, dare to ask a question in front of like 40 people with my bad English. And then the friend said again, but you're entertaining. Why don't you stream? You're just talking all day and nobody will see it. And I was like, that's actually not a bad idea. I love gaming, and then you just force yourself to constantly talk. Um, but then people did see it, and like my community was growing, and I was like, "What's going on?" And I think about like 4 years ago, it started to tick a little bit. Like I always wanted it to be a hobby and never full time. I've never wanted to be like self-employed. I hate the stress of it. But then 4 years ago, I was like, "Ooh, can you imagine if I would become a full-time streamer?" And then like 3 years ago, I was like, "Oh, I would really, really like to just, have this my job." And I was working um, 40 hours a week, and I was doing this a lot. And I was like, okay, I'm going close to a burnout. I need to make a decision. Either I quit streaming or I quit my job. And I'm very happy so far that I chose to, give full time streaming a chance. And we're currently in that chance and it's going pretty okay. And yeah, it's very exciting, especially now that I'm connecting with so many other streamers and hearing all of your stories and how you started and what you're doing. I think that's really, really interesting. Uh, and I would love to hear more, even more about these stories. So, all of you three prepared a story for today. For the chat, this story could be anything. I didn't give them any direction. I just said it can be as long or short as you want. It can be about anything. It can be about your future, your past, the now. It's whatever you want to share. So we're going to the section of the stories right now. I'm gonna make this potentially problematic for myself, but is there anyone who wants to start? Yeah, this is what I meant. I know I shouldn't do that, but I should.
I have 2 stories prepared because I wasn't sure, like, if you wanted something weird, wacky, and random.
Do you want to start and then end and tell both?
No, I don't wanna speak too much.
I think Desca had a great advice. So
Oh.
you can start with one story and end with the other. Again, I
Okay.
don't want anything. I want you to tell what you want to tell.
Okay. Well, when you said, "Right, prepare a story," I went into panic mode because if you ask me to make the most simple of decisions, I can't do it. If you say, "What do you want for dinner?" I don't know. I need someone to decide for me. But
Okay,
I
then
kind of wanted to, I guess, go into a bit more detail about all the different things I've tried to do as a career because it kind of makes me laugh in a way. But I've historically, I seem to have managed to turn all of my hobbies into a career
Oh, wow.
in my life. And I think it might be a neurodivergent thing. I find it really hard to kind of work under somebody with a hierarchy. And I really enjoy kind of being self employed. And and working with what I find really interesting. So I talked a bit about being a classical singer and an opera singer. And actually, something I did in between that and becoming a streamer was in the lockdown, I also decided, you know what, I'm really interested in wine. So I did a qualification in wine and I started working once all the bars started opening again. I started working in the wine industry. I did my WSET level 2, which is more of a kind of academic way of approaching wine, I guess, than the sommelier exams, which you hear a lot about. And yeah, I started working in wine bars. I ran a cheese market. um, and that didn't work out either. And I ended up streaming, but it's just an odd thing that I've just managed to somehow turn my 3 biggest hobbies into a career at some point in my life. So I don't know if I'm gonna. I mean, I want to keep streaming because I feel like it's the most settled I've been ever. But also I think, oh my goodness, what else am I gonna do? What else could
That's
I
so
kind of
cool.
turn into a career? But yeah,
But you're
that was
not
my
doing
kind of.
anything with wine anymore?
No, not really. So, unfortunately, I did actually get COVID. I've had COVID a couple of times,
Mm.
and the first time I had COVID, I lost my sense of taste and smell, and it's never come back properly. So it wasn't really
Oh no.
conducive with continuing that line of work because you've really got to have a good nose, particularly when it comes to wine.
Yeah.
Some of it's come back, but it's absolutely not the same.
I'm
Yeah.
so
To be
sorry to
fair, you
hear
don't have to
that.
spend as much
That
money anymore. You can
sucks.
just buy the cheaper stuff. Be like, oh yeah, it tastes good.
Yeah, exactly. It's great. Although it kind of makes your head worse in the morning, the cheaper stuff.
That's
But,
Yeah.
true.
I love your silver lining. Like, it's okay. There's something good about this.
yeah.
Oh, that's
But yeah,
intense.
that was my more less weird story.
Mm.
So
I feel like
And
playing Two Truths and a Lie with you, Career Edition, is gonna be a wild time.
oh
Yeah,
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 people
yeah.
probably wouldn't guess.
I
That's
would
true.
have never
Yes.
guessed. No.
It's
That's
amazing.
awesome. Thank you for sharing.
It's
I like
okay.
it.
I
Um,
love that. I love the diversity in your experiences. That's very cool. Like you experience so many different things and it helps you pick your own path way easier, I think, because you know what you know what you like, you know which
Yeah.
direction feels good and which one doesn't. I like that.
that's really nice. Miss Fifi, do you want to share your story with us?
I can tell a story, yeah, sure. So a lot of people in your chat from my community will immediately know which story I'm going to tell. I lived in Scotland for a bit back in the day. I lived in Scotland for a few years. Well, not for a few years. I lived in UK for a few years, but I was in Scotland for a few months. And I'll pretty much tell you the story of how I got kicked out of a town in Scotland.
A whole
Okay.
town.
Already.
This is gonna be good.
So there was this little town called Fort Augustus. It's on the one end of Loch Ness up in the Highlands, and then Inverness is on the other end. I lived in this place, and it was a tourist place because of Loch Ness is famous and so on. So there's a lot of hotels and so on. And I got a job working in one of those hotels, and what happened was there was literally 2 of us working there, and then the owner, and then the owner's children, and then the owner's husband were working there. And I got assigned the job of when they bring deliveries, because it's pretty remote, so they only bring deliveries like every week or every 2 weeks sometimes. And they bring deliveries and then they stop it there, and then we have to unpack everything. But then it was my job to take the boxes and get rid of the boxes. And so they told me that there's a big drum in the back. I have to go burn the cardboard in this drum, right? Which is, it's not the best way to dispose of it, right? You're not recycling or anything, but that was the way they did it. So I was very young too. And I was like, cool, let me do it. And then the one time I went there and I started burning all the stuff. And then what happened was one of the containers came with a big, extremely dense polystyrene packaging, like big and dense, like heavy almost. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna throw this in the fire too.
Oh no.
And I threw it in the fire, and obviously it started smoking. Like this black smoke came out. And eventually more black smoke came out. And eventually it wouldn't stop. And it just wouldn't stop. And it was like 25 minutes later and it wouldn't stop. And eventually the cloud it went into the hotel through the windows, into the curtains and the beds, and it went into the road, and people couldn't drive anymore. They had to stop in the middle of the road. And it just kept going. And eventually the whole town was covered in one big cloud of black smoke that you could see from mountains away. And it still wouldn't stop. And eventually the fire department showed up. It was a small town, so it was a volunteer fire department out of like everybody living in the town. And the whole town came to a standstill. The smoke went into everybody's windows. It went in everywhere, and the whole place was it took like a whole day to recover. The tourism just shut down for the whole day as well. And that was the main thing, but that was like my third strike really at that point. Like before then I was also tasked to every morning I had to not every morning, but once a week I had to go to all the hotel rooms and then basically polish all the wooden furniture. Like I had to take polish, spray and wipe and so on. Again, I was very young. And what I did was I would spray, and then I would spray like little messages into the thing, and then I would wipe it off, right? Just because I was bored. So you spray a little something funny, draw a naughty little picture, wipe it off, whatever. And I wanted to send a funny picture. I wanted to write something with the polish, and then take a picture of it and send it to a friend, just as a silly joke, because I was young, remember? And then I wrote something lewd-ish on the cupboard, on the wardrobe, and one of the things. I wrote the word tits, okay, and I wrote it in the polish, but then I took too long to get the camera and stuff to work and send the thing, and so the stuff sort of it burned before I could wipe it into the wardrobe, and so it was permanent on the wardrobe, which is the word
tits.
Oh
the
no.
word tits on the thing, yeah. and then what happened was the hotel owner called me in the next day, and she was like, what is this? And I was like, I don't know. And she was like, but what? No, but you do the and no. So I was like, no, that wasn't me. That was probably the French couple who stayed here. And
Oh.
Wow.
Ooh.
and she
You
was
were
like,
young. You were young.
I was young, and she was like, you don't expect me to believe that, do you? And I said, yeah, okay, fair enough. It was me. And then she was like, what do you, I was like, I don't know how to fix this. And then the next morning I woke up super early. Like it was early, it was still like dewy on the grass and everything. And I went outside, and out on the lawn, I see this old man just sanding the thing early in the morning, sanding it because of the damage I did. And I felt so bad because it's like
Aw.
this 80-year-old man sitting there doing it. And I felt
Sending
so bad.
tits off of a wardrobe.
Yes, and that was like one of the things that I did there. And after the black smoke thing, they were just like, it would be better if you leave. You better if
So
you
did
just
they
go.
ban you from the hotel or from the entire village?
Well, I mean, the hotel is where I stayed, so I didn't really have anywhere else to go if they kicked me out of the hotel.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was silly, but it was fine.
And
It
a
was fine.
fun
That's also
story years later.
that's also where I learned what I was 21 at the time. And that's also where I learned about daylight savings time for the first time in my life, when I was 21 years old, because we don't have it here. And basically I was an hour late for work. And they said, why are you late? And I said, I'm not late. I'm on time. It's 9 o'clock. And they're like, no, you're an hour late. And I said, what are you talking about? And then they said, no, but it's daylight savings. And I was like, you can't just make up words. What are you talking about? And then they said, no, the clock went back or whatever. I was like, I don't know what, I still don't understand. And then they had to explain it to me. And I thought, okay,
But that
that's
wasn't
a
one of your
thing.
strikes, right? That's just the fact that you're from South
No, yeah,
Africa.
that was just, and that wasn't actually in that. That was when I was in London, when
Okay.
I worked when I worked in a at a cinema. It was actually pretty bad because I was a projectionist, so I had to be on time to start the movies,
Oh no.
Oh, so the
and
whole movie
Just
was
an
delayed
hour
for an
delayed?
hour.
so I was an hour late. No, there was there was a backup person who was able to do the projections because a lot of people when if you're a projectionist, you can also pick up shifts in other departments. So there was someone else working a different shift, like box office shift or whatever, who was also a projectionist that day. So
Oh,
they were
that's
able to
good.
jump in.
That's a great
But
story. It's like the
yeah,
black smoke, the whole tits in the
it
in the
was
cabinet.
yeah, it was a lot. I was
Nice.
young.
hmm Thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
Desca, what kind of story did you prepare for us
Oh.
today?
Well, the people from my chat probably know the story by heart by now. It's the pyramid story. This is the story about how me and my best friend Saku almost got arrested at the pyramids for filming pornography.
Oh, jeez.
I know it sounds it's not as bad as it sounds, I promise, but it's a
hmm
great hook. It's one hell of a line, and I did not lie. Um, the year is 2019. I had actually just met Saku, and only 3 months after we had met, and we hit it off really well right from the start. She was supposed to go to Egypt for Insomnia Egypt. She is a professional cosplayer. She was supposed to be one of the judges for the cosplay contest, and she got to take someone along to carry her bag for her, great honor, great task. And her original plus one canceled a week before the event. So she looked at me. I was sitting next to her in the car. She's like, "Shit, do you want to go to Egypt?" So I had to go get a passport, like real fast. I was not prepared. My parents were like, "Who is this Saku person that is taking you to Egypt?" But we went. It was great. The event was beautiful. But then after the event, the organizers had arranged a little trip for all of their guests, and we were taken on a tour to, amongst other things, the pyramids. Before we went there, however, we stopped by a marketplace, and this is where it all starts going downhill. Unbeknownst to us, we make one of the biggest mistakes. We were there with a group of YouTubers, Nerd Out. They're a lovely bunch, and they bought a bunch of those Shike outfits. And Sakura looks at me and she says, "Hey, what's happening? They're out cosplaying the cosplayers. Like, we need to get some cool outfits as well." So we didn't do a whole lot, but we got one of those belly dance belts that you wrap around your waist. Over our normal clothes, mind you. So normal jeans, shirt, everything prim proper. On top of that, we have the belly dance belts. And then we're off to the pyramids. We go through security, and the ladies of security, they see like, ooh, like move. So we're joking around with them, like, yay, they make sounds. It's so cute. We go into the pyramids, and at some point we're like right in front of them. Saku's making a TikTok, so her phone is out in a tripod. It's nothing. We like walk in and we kind of crouch, like, yeah, we're cool. We're at the pyramids. Wow. And that's all we did. But the guys were walking around with a bigger camera with a microphone on top of it, and in their Shike outfits. So we're just having a good time. We're just minding our own business when all of a sudden one of the guards comes up to us and starts shouting at us in Arabic, like right in front of us, gets up in our face. And mind you, these people carry guns. These people are not very friendly. And we're just standing there like, I don't understand what's happening. He doesn't speak English. He's just yelling at us. We're slightly panicking. And then thank God our tour guide sees and he comes running in. So like, oh, we're saved. Thank God. I don't know what's happening. Tour guide, please save us. He walks up, starts yelling back in Arabic, which is not very, like, we were concerned. That's not
Uh-huh.
what you do when a guy with a gun is yelling at you. You don't yell back. You're like, but they go back and forth for a while. Eventually, our tour guide turns to us and says, "Ah, you have to go with them because they thought you were filming porn." We're like, what? I'm sorry.
Fully
Do I
clothed.
look? Excuse me. Do I look like I would? Okay, sure. We'll go with the nice guy with the actual weapons and guns. Please don't be mad. And we had to show everything. Like the guys from Nerd Out had to show their cameras. They took my phone. They took Saku's phone. They deleted all of Saku's videos that she had taken at the pyramids. Thankfully, they're not very smart. They don't understand that iPhone has recently deleted.
Don't tell them
so
now.
Oh no, we did not mention it. We just walked away like, yes, tap everything, restore videos, thank you. Apparently what happened is a couple months before we went there were some people from, of course, America, land of the free, that thought it would be a great idea to film actual pornography in the pyramids on top of some other pyramids. They were doing a whole
They
thing.
actually.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
They actually
okay.
did. And
So they thought
were
you were
on
going to
high
do that as
alert.
well.
Yeah, because of the guys with the camera and the shike outfits, and then two girls with the belly dance
no.
belts. They were like, no, not
They thought
again."
this is just the beginning, but they... Oh my god.
Yeah, but they were fully convinced. We were there for at least half an hour showing every single like electrical device like that could record stuff. We're like, no, we're cosplayers. I promise I wouldn't. I'm a good Christian girl. My mom would never look me in the eyes again.
Oh my
And
god.
they were this close to just snatching us up before the tour guide was there. So I'm very glad he came there in time.
I'm so happy your tour guide was there when it happened. What an amazing story as well.
Could have done without the shouting,
Jeez.
but A+ to the tour guide.
Mm.
But yeah, that was the first time I went on a trip with Saku after knowing her for 3 months. I was like, I'm never letting you take me anywhere ever again. And then I did not keep my word, and we went to many more trips with many more stories. But
I'm happy to hear
it
that
was a
it
great
ended
start.
well for your friendship.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
Well, and then we go full circle back to MissVadams. You said you prepared 2 stories.
Well, I wasn't sure like how weird and wonderful the stories needed to be. So my chat might remember this story, but I was talking earlier about how I like dinosaurs, and I've liked dinosaurs since I was a kid. And as a child, I was a very vivid dreamer. And I would often dream about dinosaurs. And I think looking back, it was some kind of anxiety dream. I don't know if any of you have had, or anybody in chat has had a kind of dream where you're running away from something. Everyone else around you is able to get away, but you're like stuck on the spot and you're running. So I would have this recurring dream, well, it's a nightmare, of a Tyrannosaurus Rex chasing everybody, and everyone else can get away, and I'm there and I can't get away. And just before it bites me, I would wake up, right? And I had this dream into adulthood. I don't have it anymore, but I had it like into my 20s. And then I discovered I could lucid dream. So when I discovered this, I thought, okay, well, I can't run away from the Tyrannosaurus Rex, but do you know what I can do? I can flap my arms like this, and I can fly.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so I could fly away from the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and that was brilliant for the next 5 years whenever it was recurring. I was like, yes. And then in my 20s, I don't know what happened in my 20s, probably a traumatic time. Well, it was a traumatic time. The Tyrannosaurus Rex now could fly also.
Oh no.
So it was still chasing you.
Yeah, so then it could then chase me. So I was like, oh great. So now it has wings, and the kind of wings it had were like these, you can imagine, I mean, a Tyrannosaurus Rex has really tiny arms. So you can imagine it also has like really tiny little angel wings. That was the image I had in my dream. And this thing was like flying after me. And I was thinking, well, how on earth do I get away from this now? This dream that's haunted me since my childhood. And yeah, then I just stopped having them. So I don't know. I feel like after reiterating this story, I'm probably going to start having these blooming dreams again now.
I instantly have to think of Split Fiction.
Dark player, you can just tame the dinosaur. It's fine.
Well,
you have
that's
practiced this for 4
true.
hours. You got that.
Yeah.
I didn't even
You're gonna
think
have
of
a
that.
dinosaur pet. That's dope.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only way to stop these dreams is to defeat the dinosaur.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
You see, if I'd known this as a child, I might have been fine. But if it ever happens again, I will take your advice.
Yes.
That's
Tame it, ride it into battle.
This is so
There you
cool.
go.
Desca's like tame it. MissFiefie is like destroy it. And I was thinking, ooh, in Split Fiction, I was a pig.
Destroy.
And there was like rainbow farts that would give a boost so you can get faster away. That was my train of thought. But I
rainbow
think
farting away from the
taming
dinosaur.
or defeating might be better
the
than rainbow
creativity.
farts.
Debatable.
No, because then the problem, he will evolve and you don't know what he will do, you know?
But then you're gonna be able to see a dinosaur with tiny little flappy wings, rainbow farting away. That's a great image.
It is. It's a fantastic
It's a
image.
win-win.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
It's
I have this I have this
yes,
orange helicopter that 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 I basically can spawn in my dreams. If I ever need a way
It's
to
like
move
quick
around in my
travel in your
dreams,
dreams.
yeah,
It's
if I ever
amazing.
need a way to move around in my dreams or to get to somewhere, whatever, even if I want to get to a different world, I have this small orange helicopter that can just fit one person.
That's
that's
kind of
so
lucid
It's
dreaming,
cool.
always
though, isn't it?
always there. It's always there. It's like my little dream helicopter. I can just use it for whatever.
That's so
That's great.
cool. I don't
It
have any
basically is
control
almost
over
like
my dreams.
a smart car. It's like a smart car, but a bit smaller. It looks like that, and orange, but it has little rotors at the top. It doesn't have a tail. It's just this one shape.
A smart helicopter.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and then I can just
That's great though. Gets you out of all situations.
Mhm.
yeah.
That's so awesome. And now we have a nice bridge from happy dreams and scary dreams that turn into happy dreams because you learn that you can like defeat your dreams. I would love to go to what are your most memorable moments while streaming. And I also want to invite the chat. If you want to interact, we're gonna read some of these stories in a little bit. Like just write first start with the name of your streamer and then what memorable moment you have of that stream. Um, and I would like to start with you, Desca. What is a very memorable moment from your stream?
Oh no. Um, one of them that I just have to mention is the very first time we played marbles. I don't know if you guys know marbles on stream.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big marble track, and if you type exclamation mark play in chat, you can join a marble race. And we all just race together. It's great. I accidentally got my entire chat addicted to marbles, so now we have to start and end every stream with at least one game of marbles.
Every stream?
Um, every stream. Every
Aw.
stream, we start and we end with marbles. Then my laptop started crashing on marbles, so I had to find a workaround. It works again, thankfully. Um, but yeah, marbles is great. But I do remember the first time that I kind of had to say like, guys, come on, we have to play the actual games. You know what? You want marbles? There happened to be a hype train. I said, for however long you keep the hype train going, that's when we're gonna play marbles. I should not have started that because at some point, it was the end of the stream. I was like, guys, I have to go to bed. No, I gotta go. And then they started the hype train. Okay, fine. We'll finish this because I don't know if you get your emotes if it's like cut short. I don't know, probably, but I don't want to test it. They kept me hostage in my own stream for 40 minutes. I was supposed to go to bed. So I respect the dedication for marbles. I feel like those are monsters of my own creation, so I will take responsibility there. But yeah, that's one of the smaller moments, but still like it's one of the. And then of course I do see Maud type Toto in there. I think Toto. I don't know if you guys have played what's it called? Like the forest. In the forest you have a little logbook thing, and I heard the person that I played with, Ethan, I heard him talk about how there was a child and we had to go find a child. I was like, okay, sure. And at some point there I see at the bottom left, I see Toto. It's like a menu thing, you can click on it, and then there's like a little list of items that, like, go find this, go do that. I'm like, oh, that's how you find a child. Toto? I'm reading like, well, who the heck is Timmy? It says find Timmy. And slowly I realize it's not Toto the child. Toto was actually to do, but it wasn't all caps and there wasn't a space in between. So it was the to-do list, but I was like, what, Timmy? What about Toto? What do you mean, Timmy? What about Toto?" And that was the iconic birth of a meme. And a little guy right there on the bed behind me has been adopted by Chet, also named Toto.
I love that. That's really
That's very
nice.
cute.
They
Thank you,
laughed at me for
Maud, for
weeks.
bringing up that story.
Mhm.
MissFiefie, what is one of your most memorable streaming moments?
Oh, here's one. I had a birthday, and so I had a birthday stream, and what I had was I had like a birthday cake and I had everything, and I had some, before I had a green screen, I had some balloons tied to the wall behind me, so there was a bunch of balloons. And then like after my birthday stream, a few days after my birthday stream, balloons are still there, but it's not my birthday anymore. I've kind of forgotten about them and everything. And I was playing Alien Isolation. You guys know Alien Isolation?
I know name. I
that
haven't played it.
where
I
you
haven't
have
played
to
it, but I know it.
where you have to you have to hide from this alien, and then it looks around and it's got like smart AI and stuff. And I was playing that, and for some reason, during what was I was hiding from the alien, but it was literally the scariest possible situation in the game. I was under this desk, and it was dead quiet, and you could hear the footsteps of the alien. It was walking around. Right here next to me, under the table almost. It was very close, and I was quiet. Didn't even want to say anything. But
Yeah.
as I was sitting there, one of the balloons just went poof,
Oh.
and I saw my life flash before my eyes.
I
And
believe that. Oh my god.
dizzy and half blind for like 30 seconds. I had to go to the toilet. I had to leave and go like, I need a minute, you guys. It was I've never been startled like that in my life. It was the perfect moment. And the balloon popped right behind me. When you hear a sound in real life behind you while you're playing it,
Oh,
No.
gosh.
I wouldn't even
Anxiety
play a
shooting.
horror game just for.
it
Oh,
was too much.
oh, that
Yeah.
sounds terrible.
There was another time when I was playing. This is also another memorable thing. It's not that entertaining, but it's memorable. I was playing GeoGuessr, and we were doing predictions. So we would do like we would just guess what country it is, and then move on and guess what country it is, and move on and move on. And then we would do predictions like, oh, it'll be this country in the next 10 tries, or this one next 10 tries. And then I decided, okay, let's do one. Let's pick a country, Argentina. And people picked the country Argentina, and I was like, okay, it'll be Argentina in the next 10. We went for 10, no Argentina. Okay, we'll do it again. Argentina next 10. Went for 10 guesses, no Argentina. Eventually it got so ridiculous, people stopped betting for it. People stopped, gambling their points towards whether it'll be Argentina, because it's just never Argentina. And then at some point, people just decided, okay, let's just put a hell of a lot of points on it, that this time it will be Argentina. This is like 60 guesses later. And we keep going. And then it gets to number 9, and then it gets to number 10, the 10th guess. And everyone's like, oh no, there's like 1.5 million points on this. That this would be Argentina. And this is literally the last chance for it to be Argentina. And all we get is some camera shot from under a bridge. And we were like, this is obviously not Argentina. And it's right under a bridge, and it's like on some rocks. And I was like, this is not going to be. And then it was Argentina. And everyone won a
Awesome.
hell of a lot of points on the very last one. And I was like, that was special. That was poetic. That's perfect.
Beautiful if all things
Yeah.
are aligned. That's awesome.
Yeah. I think that was also clipped at some point. Yeah.
That's nice. For chat, I already see some. We're coming to you in a little bit. Please, if you have a memorable moment from one of our streams, type the name of which streamer and the moment. We're going to read those in a little bit. MissVadams, what is for you a really memorable moment that happened on your stream?
So something I remember is maybe about 2 years ago when I streamed Minecraft. 'Cause once upon a time, I used to stream Minecraft as well. And it was fairly early on in my playthrough. And I had 10 diamonds, and I was very proud that I had 10 diamonds, and I had them in a little box. I wasn't ready to craft with them yet. And somebody came into my stream, and sometimes in certain categories on Twitch, you get more trolls, it seems, than other categories. Minecraft was always one of those ones for me. And this person's first time chat was, how many diamonds have you got? And I was like, I've got 10 diamonds. And they said, can I give you some money? I was like, if you want to. And they said, oh, I will give you £100 for every diamond that you have. So I was kind of like, yeah, whatever. I kind of ignored it because I kind of thought that they were maybe just wanting a bit of attention. But no, they dropped a big dono, and
They dropped 1,000.
they dropped £1,000. It turned out to be a YouTuber called Unspeakable making a video on small streamer reactions.
Oh my god!
But I'll never forget that moment because I just kind of sat there and I didn't believe it. I thought it was fake, and I thought I'd been scammed. I thought I was scammed.
Yeah,
I was like
that's
messaging my
going to-
mods, like, "Is this real?"
No.
It turned out it was real, and at the time I was saving it for my existing graphics card actually. And I remember I left the money in the PayPal account for 3 months just in case it was a scam. But it ended up paying for the card, and then he brought this video out. But I was just gobsmacked. I was like, "What?"
Oh my god, I would be terrified because I've had
Yeah.
it once with like a big gift sub bomb or like a big dono. If it's someone I know, oh my god, they just went wild today, but that's absolutely amazing. But the first time chatter, you hear the stories of people that donate big and then like refund it.
Yeah.
And I know it's against all rules and shouldn't be possible, but it still happens sometimes. I would do the same. Be 3 months,
Yeah.
like I'm dreaming. And then after 3 months, be like, oh,
Yeah. But like, luckily, my reaction wasn't like. In the end, I was like, "Thank you very much," because even if it was fake, I was like, I'll still be thankful. And then luckily, I think I was one of the only people in that video that had like a nicer reaction. Like the reaction to some of the other streamers who had way more diamonds than me were just like, nah, get screwed, ban kind of thing.
So they got like over
Wow.
€1,000 and then banned him.
Well, no. They didn't even get to receiving a dono because the way they responded to that in chat was, no, it must be a troll, ban before the dono had even gone through.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh
But yeah,
no.
It's
absolutely
crazy,
mad.
but we get so afraid of the trolls. So before we go to the stories, I had something similar, not with this much money, but like I got like a €1 donation of someone with a link to like a trivia, and I was like, oh, that's weird. It was a first time chatter, and so I sent it to my mods. I was like, I don't know what this is. It seems scammy. Is someone who can like see if this is real? And they were like, it's a link to a trivia, and the rules state that if you get every answer correct, you get some money. And I was like, oh, okay, let's check it. So we did the trivia and it was super good. Like the first one was like 5 questions about World of Warcraft, a game that I play a lot. Then we got like €5. 5 questions correct, €5. Then we went to Wordle and Contexto and Lodel, which I called my brother for because I was like, I don't know anything about League of Legends, but you play it. Hello, help. And then I got like for every question correct €5. So I got like €25. And then the last time we got like €25 for every question correct. But I almost missed out on this super fun part of the stream because I thought it must be a troll. I don't know what this is. Like, why would I believe it and click his link? But yeah, it was actually really, really fun. Yeah. It's crazy
cool.
how cautious we have to be as streamers
Well,
at
we
times.
have to be, don't we? Yeah, of
We
course.
do.
But yeah, it's a.
But
it's a weird old world.
sometimes we hit the jackpot because there are also just crazy expensive YouTubers who want to react video, or just really nice people who want to see people shocked, I suppose. Okay, I'm going to chat. Maud is the first one about Desca. There's a lot of these memorable moments. Can't forget Toto. Oh, you already told that one.
Yep.
Viev
Gonna make a
and
shirt one day. What about Toto?
it's I love that you now have a Toto on the back.
Yes.
DJ Trainbrain says Viev and Nesseru, my cupcake. That is a memorable moment. I had a guest streamer, Nesseru, who joined me for a cupcake baking stream. And then she was like super proudly showed me her cupcake and I like put it down, but I put it down wrong. So it fell on the floor and she's yelling like it's her child in front of a car. She's like, my cupcake. And that's absolutely a beautiful moment indeed. And I'm still sorry I dropped her beautiful cupcake. Louis says, my favorite memory is when I convinced Desca to divorce Shane. Oh, in Stardew
Yeah.
as a sub goal.
Listen, don't judge me on this. Shane was a great character until you marry him. He had all the character development and then he's just shit again. So I really liked Shane because he's espresso depresso and as the player, you don't fix him. You're just like, hey, I get it. Life is sad sometimes, but there's good shit too. And he fixes himself, and I respect that. So I married him, as any sane person would do. And then he just has his entire trash room moved into my house. I'm like, clean your goddamn shit. But no, he just looks dumb, and he's drinking all the
You're so
time.
serious about this. It's like
I'm really mad about this. And then I started just torturing him, mental torture. And because you can buy portraits of the person that you've married, right? So I just have like 7 to 8 of the Shane portraits. Every time I see one, I buy one. And yeah, so it's just gonna be a torture house where he sees his own face or wherever he looks. But then they convinced me to make Divorce Shane a subgoal. I have not yet done that. I haven't played Stardew since, so I have to plan proper streams. Everyone can come and
so it's currently
say
a
goodbye to
sub goal in
Shane.
your stream.
We had reached it, but I need to plan the proper moments to stream it because I can't just do it. You know, we need to know. People need to be there.
Yeah. I
And
see
then
in
we're,
chat that chat's also very active about this. Yeah.
yeah, they're very passionate about
So this is a
one. So it's
memorable
definitely
moment
great.
to come.
Yeah, well, the whole journey has been memorable. We had this whole thing about his trash room, so that was
Nice.
very
Well, thank
ridiculous.
you for sharing. I absolutely love that one. The
It's part
next
of the
one,
Desca lore now.
Mm.
I am also curious now about like all the other people and how they will act if you marry them. Ussie says about MissVadams, naming anything in any game but.
Okay, so I have a channel point redeem. Name a thing in a game. It starts off with name a dinosaur because I used to play a lot of Ark. For 1,000 channel points, you can name something. And somebody came to my chat one day and decided they were going to call a dinosaur Butts. And it just kind of stuck. So in every single playthrough of every single game I play, there is a Butts. Sometimes, depending on what it is, for example, in Ark, I have a pteranodon. So we've got a flying Butts. We also have a swimming Butts, who's a giant whale. And then one day, I was breeding an army of Rexes, I think it was, or was it Gigas? Some kind of large dinosaur to go and take on a boss. And I often don't read things correctly. I just kind of scan and guess and hope for the best.
Yeah.
And
same.
somebody wanted to name one of these boss fighting dinos Butterfingers, kind of a variation on butts, I guess. But I just read it as Buttfingers. So we had a dinosaur called Buttfingers. And then we marched into battle, and there is a clip that exists somewhere on the internet of me just screaming as Buttfingers ran into a pool of acid and slowly drowned.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was a sad day, but lots of butts in my chat.
Sounds like a memorable day.
He's like, too much, too far.
Sometimes in Ark, you try to whistle your dinosaurs one place and they just have a mind of their own. They go in another direction, and that's kind of what happened. I think it might be in a TikTok somewhere, but yeah.
It sounds like a
That's
clip
what
we
that's
would love
referring
to
to,
see.
anyway.
World.
And for everyone, if you ever want to name a character or something in a game, but go to MissVadams. She
There you
will
go.
provide. Let's see. Do we have more stories from? Here. I think I skipped some. Maybe. My chat went way too fast. During a subathon, this is Roy talking. During a subathon for MissFiefie, she reached a point where she had to eat a hot chili lollipop. Oh no. She decided it would be easier to go the quick and painless way and swallow it whole. I've never once seen someone almost die on stream until that day. I was truly so concerned that I was contacting her roommate to check on her. Oh my
In your
god.
stream when that happened. I'm pretty sure I was in your stream.
Oh my god, that sounds terrible, MissFiefie.
I did a yeah, it was subathon, and it wasn't a lollipop, it was a gummy. It was a what do you call it? Carolina Reaper gummy, which is the hottest chili in the world, if you don't know. And I decided, let me try this. We reach a certain goal. I'm gonna try this gummy, and people in my chat were like, "Don't actually do it. It's a bad idea." And I was like, "Nah, I'm fine. I like
And
the
you
hot
didn't take a
spicy."
tiny bite.
And then what I did was, no, I did take a tiny bite, but then I was like, "That's fine." And then I just did the whole thing. And then um, the the problem isn't the mouth burn. Like, it burnt the shit out of my mouth, but that wasn't the problem. The problem was it was burning my stomach. And like it felt like it was burning a hole in my stomach.
Oh
And I had
no.
to like run away from this room. I had to leave. And I started sweating all over my body, and I couldn't breathe. And
Oh no.
I almost got a seizure. I had to like lie on the floor, on the cold floor in the kitchen, just lie there in like fetal position for like half an hour while I was sweating and crying. And I honestly thought at one point, like, this is it. It's been fun. See ya.
Oh
Oh
And
my
it
wow.
was
god.
horrible. And then yeah, and then what happened was my roommate was also at home. My roommate left the house before I did it, and so I was alone here, and I was freaking out. And then I came back to the stream, and I just sat here in silence,
Oh no.
just
But that's the
breathing,
part where I came
breathing.
into your stream. I came
I
into
was
that bit and I
breathing.
was like, "Are you
Yeah,
okay?"
I was
kind of
breathing
thing.
like this for like 20 minutes just here on camera, and I was sweating, and it wasn't good. Yeah, I was white, and it was not good. So
Oh my. I
I
will
don't
never do
recommend
that though.
eating one of those gummies. But if you do want to do like it's a hot thingy experience, reactions and all that, it's fine to chew it and then spit it out. Don't swallow it, because
Yeah.
That's good advice. I think that's good
the mouth
advice.
burn is the
Like a
thing that
fine
people want to see
line.
anyway. They want to go, you want to go, and then that's the fun part. And it burns your mouth so much, but it was completely like dwarfed by
Oh my god.
the stomach. But I thought there was going to be a hole in my stomach. Honestly, it was
That's
awful
scary.
experience.
That's
Yeah.
scary. Wow. Oh my god. Desca, MissVadams, have you ever done something that you regret for a sub goal or a dono goal?
I think the worst thing
Mm,
I've ever done is Chubby Bunny with marshmallows. Do you know about Chubby Bunny?
I know I've considered it because every time I like brainstorm goals, people recommend it, but I feel like I will start laughing and then choke.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what went through my mind. But luckily, I was fine. But I think I had 10 marshmallows in my mouth at this point. As somebody
mm.
raided in, of course they raided in, and then everything just like spat out.
Oh no.
I was
No.
like, no, I'm laughing
Oh, that's
now.
Perfect time for a
hilarious.
Okay,
raid.
I hope for the sake of science that there's a clip of that because I think people
There
want to
is,
see that.
there is, of course there is. Yeah,
Oh my god.
Listen,
Oh,
if
and
you're
you,
gonna
Desca?
suffer, might as well use it for the views, you know? Um, for streaming, I don't think I've done anything weird or crazy for streaming yet. Um, I sat in a bathtub fully clothed in cosplay for a video. Um, Other than that, I don't know. I don't do a lot of weird stuff. I do a lot of like what normal people would consider weird stuff on like daily basis.
Yeah, same.
But yeah. I feel like we can all find each other on that.
yeah.
I don't
Most
know.
streamers, and especially with goals. Like I think
Mhm.
I've never did anything chili wise, and I will never do that because I'm already like, if people have a sausage and they say, "Oh, this is nicely spiced," I'm like, "Nicely spiced is burning," and they're like, "This is not hot spice; it's just spiced." I can't deal with that. But I did a lemon shot one day of like fully squeezed lemon, and I thought, oh, just I do a lot, but apparently, and then my mouth, just like the muscles in my cheeks, they kind of were in permanent lock for a few minutes. So I was just like, oh,
No.
like I can do it right now, but it was like I couldn't really. I was like just moving my jaw for I think a full 10 minutes before they went back to normal. So I won't do that soon again. But people have been mentioning how funny it is if I do a lemon shot again. So maybe one day I'll do it again.
I probably
Um,
should never ever do that kind of stuff. Like especially the spicy ones. Like I'm so pale. I'm not just normal white. I'm super pale. I have sun allergy. I can't get a tan. But when Saku cooks, she's like, "Oh, I'll do just the one chili, like nothing too weird." And she's like, "Oh, this is nice, right?" And I'm just sitting there like, "Mhm, this is so good."
And
And I
every
feel
time you
bad
die a
not
little bit
eating.
inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please don't eat a gummy. Don't even put it in your mouth.
No, one time we went for dinner after an event, and Saku was cosplaying for it was for Elder Scroll, and it was oh, what's his name? Well, the big guys, the CEOs of the game was there. It was with the people from the Xbox team. It was like all the big names were there, and I was with Saku, so I was like, I can't do anything weird now. So we went out to this like I think it was Indian curry stuff, and it looked really good. I specifically picked one of two options that were the least spicy, and I got it. There was like beans in there. I was like, "Oh, it looks so nice." Like I take my very first bite, and there's this nice green bean in there. I'm like, "Oh, bean! I like bean." I eat it. I bite into it. It's a freaking green chili. It's a whole chili, like a whole chili in that plate in my mouth, and I bite down on it. But we're sitting there with all these. I can't spit it out, so I swallowed everything. It was
Oh, jeez.
terrible. And for the rest of dinner, like whenever you have something warm, it like reactivates the spice, you know? So I was
Mm.
just sipping the iced tea and just trying to get through. It was terrible. It tasted great, but they
You're
lied. And then I
such
found
a good
another.
friend, though. Like,
Yeah.
I'm dying inside, but I'll do it for my friend. That's beautiful.
I can't sit there. There's people from Xbox. There's I forgot his name.
But that's fine for the
The guy
story because
from like yeah, but literally the people who created Elder Scrolls, they're sitting there chatting to us and we're having a good time and I can't be like, okay, hold on. Can't do that. Can't do that.
you did
So
so
yeah.
well. That's impressive.
Thank you. That's validation I needed, actually.
You're a good friend. You
I
saved her
suffered for
butt
that.
with that.
Thank
That's
you. Not
awesome.
my own though.
Not your
Literally.
own.
That was a terrible
Uh,
joke.
talking about people around you, you already said I do weird things on a daily basis. This is who I am. I'm pretty curious to learn more about like your friends, family. If you have another job, like how do the people around you respond to that you're streaming and that this is your career? MissVadams, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I had a very positive reaction from those closest to me. My parents are among my kind of founding subscribers,
Aw.
and even though yeah they're retired now, so they won't like be there for the whole stream, but they'll put it on. They'll say hello every day that I'm live, and then they'll go
Oh,
away
that's
and do their
nice.
thing.
That's the
Um,
cutest thing.
they're
Yeah.
very supportive. They're really wonderful people, and my closest friends had still don't really know much about the gaming world or the streaming world, but they will be supportive as well, which is wonderful because that's not always. I know that that's not always the reaction you get from people. I have spoken to people when they that conversation when you're speaking to people who aren't really so involved in the online world and they go, "Oh, so what do you do?" And it's that moment where you're like, "Okay, I'm going to have to tell them, well, try and explain to them what I do, right?" And some of the responses, aren't as favorable. I've had things such as, "Oh, so that's not really a job though, is it?"
Oh, that one.
"Oh, so you just sit and play video games all day?" Or also, the adult entertainer thing. No, absolutely. And I've had a lot of men kind of go, "Oh, so you do porn then?" Because I sit in front of a camera online and I'm a woman, so that's what I must do, right?
Cam
I'm always
girl.
happy.
And I
Sorry.
just want to say, hey, hats off to those people that make money in the adult entertainment industry because how are you going to get objectified whether you get paid or not? 100%.
Might
But
as
it's just
well
the
make some money off of
assumption
it.
that because, so I've had, yeah, from the people that are closest to me in my life, the reaction has been wonderful and very supportive, even if they've not really understood it. But then, yeah, on the flip side, there are some people that you speak to about it and you just think, oh, why do I bother trying to explain? So yeah,
I
bit of
always like
both.
to change the story depending on who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
So I've learned like my mom talks about my stream to everyone she meets nonstop because she's so proud, and I absolutely love that, especially
Oh,
now that I'm full time. Uh, she's always like she likes to say hi in chat because then people give her a sub and then she texts me and it's like, I helped you pay your bills again this month. And like she doesn't even donate herself, which would be actually weird. But she's like, she likes to stimulate that. And we still have a cooking stream together on the to-do list because we had a goal for uh my anniversary stream, and it's absolutely adorable how she supports. But then she always tells her friends, and then she will open Twitch to see if I'm live at that moment to show what I'm doing at that moment. So that could vary from me playing World of Warcraft or me being dressed up as a banana with a friend who's dressed up as a banana making banana pie, which was also an unlock at a stream one day. And I was like, oh God, if it's like, you go explain why your daughter is dressed up as a banana making banana pie. You're making it tough on yourself. So we came to to the most easy way to announce what I'm doing. It's like it's a live gaming television on a pay what you want base, and then like explain to people you have a subscription to Netflix, but they have a subscription to this channel, and then it kind of works. And the way she now says it, like also, you know, I tell people like this, and then they very little ask like, oh, so do you take your top off? Which when I was, you know, explaining I was a game streamer 6 years ago, people would say, oh, so you're a streamer without or with a shirt? And I would always be like, I just
It's a
said game
blouse. Thank you
streamer. I
very
said
much.
game
Yeah.
streamer. And I know, like, I also have friends who do the other part of, content creation on the side of game streaming. But the fact that when people say they're a game streamer, there are so many people that instantly assume it might be also something else. That is, yeah, quite interesting. But everyone in my family is supportive. They just want me to pay my bills. So we have a lot of conversations about my finances every now and then, and they're super boring uh, because they want me to adult. So if I have good months, I will proactively engage in that conversation. And then I hope they won't ask in the bad months. So yeah, that's only their only concern is, can you pay your bills? Will you be, insurance things if something big happens. So that's it for me. How about for you, Desca? How did people around you respond to you being a game streamer and cosplayer
Um,
in your case?
yeah, for me, like I said, I started with cosplay, and my dad, he's always supportive. Doesn't matter what I do, he's always like, "Heck yeah, let's do this." And he is very much, we're very alike. And sometimes when we're talking, we have enough for half a word, and we will understand the entire conversation. And my mom is just on the sideline, like, "What is happening?" Um, she was not as on board in the beginning, especially since this is a quote from her. She just didn't understand cosplay. She said, "I don't get it. All I see is kids like at the playground playing pretend and playing dress up, and I'm just worried that you're not gonna have a proper future."
Mm,
And I understand that. So I tried to not talk too much about wanting to do YouTube, wanting to do this kind of stuff until I actually started making money with it. And for everyone who is struggling with this, with their parents not seeing like cosplay, for example, as like a good thing, what I did is at some point I made paladin armor. So Voltron, Legendary Defenders, they have like really cool suits. And I got foam, I got a bunch of tools, and I started crafting. And I was like, oh no, my room is too small. No, I have to sit downstairs with full on lie. But I just sat downstairs and I started crafting there. And my mom was amazed at all these new skills that I had learned because I was making a suit of armor from foam, and I made like a whole shirt to go underneath and it looked cool. I had lights that worked like LEDs. She's like, "Are you soldering? Now you're doing all this stuff, all these tools?" Like, "Oh my god." And she was actually impressed. And that's when she first started like kind of coming around to, okay, at least it looks cool and you're doing more than just buying weird costumes. And like, cuz she saw most of the like the nerd stigma around it, right?
mm,
And eventually I started earning money, And that's when she was like, okay, I can stop worrying. This is an actual thing you can do. And I think it was there was an app, and they contacted me and they said, if you make videos for us, we will pay you per view. And then she started telling everyone, she started like bragging almost to my grandma. She's like, yeah, they emailed my daughter from all the way from America because they wanted her to make videos for them. And I'm like, Mom, you can chill, it's fine. She did a 180 real fast when she realized she didn't have to worry and that I
That's
was gonna be
cute.
fine. Yeah.
I'm
And
glad she became supportive as well. How
mhm.
about you, Miss
Yeah.
Fifi? How did the people around you respond to you being a streamer?
Um, let me just say that's actually such a good point as well with your mom. Is a lot of times with these type of communications with people around you, not just with streaming, but with any sort of online activity that's got like a subculture around it. It's they it'll be it's always much easier for them to get it when they see it and when they experience
Mm,
it than when you tell them about it. Like it sounds so foreign to a lot of people when you tell them about it, but when they see it, they're like, ah, okay, I see. And for me, my for me, like with what you guys said about when you say streaming, people assume you take your clothes off or something. For me, it's like even further removed from that. Whereas like if I say streaming, they don't they didn't even have a frame of reference for what the word means in any way, so they couldn't
Mm,
make that assumption at all, right? Like there was nothing
mhm,
there. So when I started doing it, it was from zero with them, with like I had to explain all about it. And I don't think my dad has to this day ever watched my stream, and I still don't think he understands what it is. My mom has come to my stream a few times. She's seen my stream. She understands it. She gets it, and so on. They do trust that I know what I'm doing. Um, and the rest of my family, like my brother, he's always been a gamer as well, so he gets it. My extended family, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't see them much. Um, I don't really have a lot of IRL friends since like lockdown times, really.
mm,
Since I've been a streamer, so I do spend a lot of time online. I think it's healthy for any streamer, for every streamer to have one completely disconnected friend, someone who's just completely real life, you know, 3D world, who doesn't even know any of this stuff. I think it's um a good sort of anchor for us to have a
mm,
friend like that. And I had a friend like that, but they moved away, and now I don't really have anyone like that anymore. But yeah, maybe one day again. It's good to have friends. But
mm.
no, so far, I mean, it's not. There's never really been any sort of conflict in my life about it or anything about from other people and so on. It's been, it's more like they just let me do my thing, and I'm able to survive. I'm able to survive, and sometimes I'm even able to help them out a little bit.
that's really nice. And also what you said,
Yeah,
like they
which is
trust
nice.
me that I can take care of myself. I think that's
That
really
I
nice.
know what I'm doing and know what I'm talking
They
about.
don't know
Yeah.
what you're
So that
doing. They don't care as long as
Mm,
you take good care of
yes,
yourself.
and every once in a while I could be like for example, um, in my country there's a lot of power outages and there's a lot of blackouts and rolling blackouts and stuff.
mm,
So most people have like some sort of setup where they have like solar panels or they have
Oh,
some sort of stuff, right? Like there's a lot, and then because the grid is just unstable and broken. And so, like today, I had a power outage this morning. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to come to the podcast.
I'm happy you're here
But when
though.
I
But that sounds very
yeah,
tough. This is your full-time
but
job.
yeah, and after being a full-time streamer, I was able to, for my mom and for my brother, at least, I was able to uh, get some backup power systems for them. I just gifted it to them with money I made on Twitch.
That's really cool.
Oh,
And And now, in order to help them survive, the power outages and stuff. And they were like, oh, that's cool. So you can actually like afford to get stuff like this and so on and so on. And by no means making a lot of money, but at least I'm able to do every once in
That's
a
really
while,
cool.
help them
Yeah.
out and stuff. And I
Yeah.
think that's why they're like, okay, this is fine. It's working out. Like I'm able to scrape by, and as long as I can, and as long as I'm happy, it's fine. I don't think they care too much about.
That's
Um,
awesome. And I'm happy that it's working out for you and the people around you are supportive. Um
yeah.
yeah. I would love to know from all of you, who is your favorite streamer? And how have they influenced you? Miss Fifi, do you want to start?
Jeez, who's my favorite streamer?
Or just a streamer that positively influenced you, or don't you really watch other streams?
A streamer that possibly influenced me. Let me put it this way, right? Here's one. Okay, so when I started streaming, I was very much ingrained into the local streaming community, South African streaming community in my country. And people in this country mostly play competitive games. They mostly play Call of Duties and that sort of thing, and most of them were that. And I didn't really. So in the beginning, when I started streaming, I did play some of that and so on, and but it wasn't really like, I was used to playing like single player games and stuff, strategy games, stuff like that, growing up. And so I was new to Twitch, and I sort of thought, okay, and I looked at these are also the most popular categories, the ones where people play these competitive games and stuff. And I was very ambitious, and I thought, maybe if I stream in the categories that are popular, this is where you'll grow. And then I thought maybe it is possible to just stream single player games. And I thought I'm gonna go find somebody who plays single player games, who I can look at and see them make a success out of it, and see that it's actually possible. And one of the first people I found, and this was actually before they blew up to ridiculous size, was Miss Mika.
Mm.
And to the point where she almost had the same viewership as I did, and I was sort of became friends with her in a way, and I would always show up there, and she would come to my stream and so on. And it sort of drifted away after she blew up so huge after Elden Ring and so on. But she, someone like that is what showed me that I can just do the stuff that I want to do and grow there and so on. There is definitely abundance in that category and in that in those genres and stuff. So I don't have to follow the trendy stuff. I don't have
You
to.
can just play what you want to play.
Yes,
Yeah.
and there's space for that, and sort of, so that really made me sort of change my whole trajectory. Oh, I hate saying that word. I can't say that word. Um,
That's
I
really
can
awesome. Yeah. Miss
yeah.
Mika
So
is
it's sort of a wake up call for me in that sense, where I was like, okay, so let me just do the things I want to do then. Yeah.
that's really cool. Thank you for sharing that example, and indeed a really admirable streamer as well. Miss
Mm.
Vadams.
So I have two that come to mind, and one of them isn't a streamer, but rather a YouTuber
Mm-hmm.
that kind of made me think about getting into content and kind of storytelling. I used to watch a lot of Corrales, and I have anxiety, and I find something that's very soothing for my anxiety is to watch Let's Play series of people that have just very soothing voices and who are able to storytell. And I used to watch a lot of his City Skyline series, Minecraft, and he even started doing some Ark, which was the game I ended up playing first when I started streaming. And it was kind of like watching him and thinking, actually, maybe I would be good at this, and I was kind of inspired by him, and I still watch his stuff today. Yeah, inspired by him to start. And I think I'm going to be a bit biased saying this, but somebody who I spend probably the most of my time in their stream is my best friend Molly Berry. And I think
Molly.
yeah, Molly I hope she doesn't mind me talking about her. But I found her because she played a lot of the same games that I did. And something which I've always kind of tried to do is to create an environment that because sometimes the games I play, they do have like a more toxic side to them. Not always, but in the survival crafting world, if you're on official servers, sometimes things just run a bit rampant. And I wanted to make a space that was not that, if that makes sense. And
Mm-hmm.
I never want to kind of call my space safe or inclusive, because that's not for me to decide. That's for my community to decide. But those things, it's very important to me. And when I came across Molly's stream, I realized, yes, this is somebody doing what I want to do. Like, she is so extraordinary about making you feel cozy and comfy. She's very good at kind of setting her boundaries, and she's also just very entertaining to watch. And often when I'm in streams, I'm not necessarily an active chatter. I need somewhere, as I say, that I can just kind of relax to and let the anxiety flow out of me. And I was very much, and I still very much am, drawn to her stream because of those things, I think.
That's really cool. It's nice
Yeah.
that you found that inclusive space that you want to make for other people, but now also found for yourself.
Yeah, I was
Um,
very much inspired by what she does. I think she does it very well. She's very good at speaking up on things, but kind of keeping it
is.
light. And yeah,
I love Molly.
yeah, she's great, isn't she?
That's so nice. Thank you for sharing. I always love, the fact that there's such a big group of streamers that are very supportive of each other, and they just want everybody to succeed, and we're not shy to, compliment other streamers. So thank you for sharing that. Desca, how about you?
Ooh, I never really watched a lot of streamers until I started streaming myself. Before, I was more of a YouTube girly, and one of them, he also does stream. And ever since I started on Twitch, I have caught a couple of his streams. But he's variety now, but he used to play a lot of League of Legends. Spuzzy. I love that man to bits. Though also CivHD, have to mention him. And it's just, I don't know why, but he is so silly, but he can make like anything work as a gag. And I admired that. And I tried to kind of see things more light as well. Because he always knows how to turn even like weird shit into something good, something funny. And I think that made a very big impact on me. And later on, like, this is truly the guy that I admire most in terms of streaming, Ludwig. I
Mm.
think he is so incredibly talented. And he also is a really good source for people who want to get into streaming. He actually has, he did a whole stream, made a whole PowerPoint presentation and everything. There's a YouTube video of this as well. It's called, I think, something along the lines of You Want to Be a Streamer. And he goes through like so many things, but the biggest part is set a goal and have like a couple of really easy things that you have to get started on. And if you didn't even take the time to write those down, what the heck are you doing? Like, you're not going to be a streamer, you're never going to make it. The first time I watched that video, I made a 4-page Word document on all the things I was going to do. That's still nothing. When I first wanted to get into streaming, um, and then I pivoted into cosplay, I had literally a 14-page Word document. And I wanted to start a different YouTube channel. In the end, I didn't do it, but I did do a whole like SWOT analysis of 40 pages. I gotta
Wow.
keep myself excited and doing market research and stuff. But there's still a lot of skills that I learned there that I can apply through to Twitch and the other YouTube channels that I got. So yeah, I really like to analyze and research, and Ludwig is a really good source for that. And on top of that, he does IRL events. He does so many incredible things. He popped up pretty fast as well, and I just really enjoy his vibes in general. Yes, the SWOT analysis 100%.
That is
Some
so
people
cool.
in chat.
I never did anything like that. Like, I just started streaming because I clicked
Yeah.
on going live. It was actually still on my PlayStation, where they just had
Mm.
a go live thing. And then later I do sometimes, prepare for a stream, but it has never been more than one document. Even
Mm.
the whole streamers and stories line out, that was the biggest line out I've ever made. was, I think, 1.5 page, which is the most prepared I've been for like planning. MissFiefie, MissVadams, are you like is this similar to you? Do you plan out your concept and everything? I'm super curious now.
No, no, I mostly wing everything in my life, honestly. Which makes writing, because I'm writing fantasy, makes it tough, but also more fun, I think.
Do you have anything out already published?
No, I'm starting out. I'm starting out. I've got 2 projects going at the moment. There's a
I'd love to
one-off and then
read
a
something once you
epic
put it out
series.
there. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And
that's
I think
cool.
I'm decent at it. Like I've always been interested in storytelling and stuff. I went to film school, and
So one day you might
I wrote
publish
I
something
wrote
where we can
I
read
wrote
it.
yeah, I've written many screenplays, but it's
Oh, that's
the
cool.
That's cool.
novels are a new novel idea.
But that you
Uh,
also don't plan anything out for the outline of your novel.
I do
Oh,
absolutely.
there you do.
I'll,
Okay.
I do, yes, I do, and then I go get halfway and I redo it because I'm not happy with it, and I rethink the whole concept sometimes, and then I start over again, and it's a mess.
I can't wait to read it one day. That sounds so cool. I love reading. I read a lot of books, so mostly fancy, high fancy, but also smut
Oh, that's
fancy,
good.
like all the fancy.
Mhm.
So I'm really
Great. Yeah.
curious. Yeah. But do you want to share a little bit about your story or nothing yet?
I can. I mean, yeah, I can absolutely. Should I? Can I now? Should I now?
Yeah?
Yeah,
I
go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm writing 2 stories at the moment. The big main one is going to be like a whole series where it's proper fantasy, but it's like, it's epic and all that, but it's set in a world that I created that is it's very mm, primitive, tribal, almost like Neolithic Stone Age vibes in like
Mm-hmm.
this and it's in this desert world, and it's got a very mystical feel about it, and it's basically about these two these twins, and they're basically they get separated, but they have this weird thing about them that's sort of a mystery, in the fact that they weren't born, they just sort of spawned out of the mud, and you've just out of nowhere, just one day, boom, and then the moment they did, all the magic in the whole world became like a little bit stronger, like
Mm.
2% stronger, and it sort of brought the whole world into chaos. And then they get separated, and then the story basically tells the story of 2 of them in their separate parts of the world trying to get back to each other, but one of them goes through so much bad stuff that she ends up becoming the main antagonist of the story.
Oh,
And then
damn.
the other
Ooh.
one is the main protagonist of the story. So, I mean, I was thinking about it after I wrote this. I was thinking about it, and I feel like a lot of people is going to end up calling it something like Tribal Frozen or something like that, because of the 2 sisters, and the one goes away and becomes bad
But
guy,
that's
and
fine. That's fine. Like every
so
story
yeah,
has
I'm
already
perf-
been written.
no, when I thought about that concept, I thought I'm happy about that. I think that's a
Yeah.
great way to put it. Yeah, because
Mhm.
And
it
your
tells
story
people
will
what
be
it's like.
completely different, but of course it will have
Yeah,
similarities. It sounds
yes, and
intriguing.
then
I would love to read it
yeah,
once
and
you're
then the
there.
others, right, and then obviously there's a subplot of like the mystery of why the 2 of them exist, and how they were
Yeah, don't tell
created
too
and all this.
much.
Yeah, no, I won't. No, it's a very long story, and then the other story, the one I'm mainly focused on now, is it's actually a vampire story. Um,
Ooh.
it's set in the real world, in our world. It's set in Johannesburg, and um, it's a very dark story about how it's a very dark story about how people how in this story the main character gets turned into a vampire early on in the story. But them being turned into a vampire turns them into a better person, turns them into a more honest person, because they are predatory now, but they were more predatory when they were a human. They were more predatory, and it's basically like a scammer. And
That's really
um
cool.
and
I've never
now
heard it
that
reversed
and
like
now
that
that
before.
the predatory part of them is part of who they are, and it becomes more honest, right? And because they can start thinking about because they don't have to spend any more energy about like pretending and lying and being deceitful, they can
It breaks them
they can
free.
store there's a lot more like introspection. So the part of the story that is the actual literal blood sucking are the most honest parts of the story, whereas everything else is manipulation and human things that are separated from the vampire. The vampire parts of the story are the more honest things. So it's a bit of
The
a critique on
characters
humanity.
and like all the
It's
writing,
a
it
very
sounds so
yeah
complex.
yeah. It's a bit
Honestly,
of a
write fast because I can't wait to read
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And
You have to let us know when it's out.
it's a bit of a critique on the predatory and opportunistic nature of humans, and
Mm.
how we how we are already the predators. If we do get turned into a vampire, you just become more honest about it. And
I absolutely love that. It's a nice little political touch
yeah,
in a easy to read.
and then they start learning. This person starts learning then that where to have better priorities, and where their purpose should be lying, and what is more important in life. Things like friendships, and things like um to stop focusing on the things that divide us, and the things that it's not so much self-interest as more community interest focused. So it actually has a happy ending in that sense. It's a hopeful, it's a dark, depressing story, but it's also hopeful. And it's the same with my other story. It's got very heavy themes. The fantasy story that I'm talking about, it's not going to be a young adult romp.
No, it's
It's
going
going
to
to be
be
heavy.
rough. Yeah.
That one, it's
Introspective.
gonna because one of the sisters is gonna go through a lot of trauma, and she's gonna become addicted to power, and it's not gonna be about the power, it's gonna be about the addiction.
Yeah.
And I've actually researched a lot so that I can do it responsibly, because I don't want to make assumptions or engage in stereotypes about certain themes. So I'm trying to do it as responsibly as I could. Talk to people who've gone through it, and so on and so on. And in the main characters, the main sister's quest to try and reach her sister, which is basically the whole story. She's gonna go through a bunch of stuff too, and she's gonna have to fight a lot, and because she's a warrior, and she's gonna have to fight a lot, and that's also gonna take a toll on her. So there's gonna be a little bit of PTSD stuff in there too.
I love the
And
whole way you thought this all through and the way you passionately talk about your story. I can't wait to read it. I could listen to you for an hour, but I
Yeah.
believe then it won't
yeah,
have
no, we
any
can.
use to read it. But that's
Yeah.
really, really
So
interesting. Yeah.
It's so nice to hear
yeah,
people
that's
get really passionate about stuff they love
Right?
and talk
Yeah.
about it. You can really see
I am.
that
I'm
you
very.
love
I'm
this.
very. Yeah, I'm very passionate. But I'm very stoked
Mm.
about getting it done.
Yeah. I used to be a writer.
Really?
Yeah, I
Ah.
say used to because I mean I've never really, I mean actually I've been published a few times like in tiny story things, and I once published a poetry book like myself. I self-published, and now it's pretty bad. I mean I was 21 at the time or something, so it's like really, those
Okay,
those late.
hold on. We cannot gloss over how you said it's bad. Well, how many people do you know that are 21 that have a published book? I need
Yes,
you to take that
yes.
back right now. That's really cool.
I mean, it's the poems itself are a little. It's
You
but
would
yes,
write
it
better
is really
poems
cool.
now
It's
because you've grown as a person, but it's still really dope.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really yeah. But then I just one day I think when I quit smoking cigarettes, I quit writing. Maybe because I
Oh,
never
wow.
breathe anymore. uh,
Oh, wow.
but yeah, smoking is of course very bad for your health. So I quit like 6 7 years, I think now. Um,
Yeah.
and then I used to just I would write nonstop and like yeah, smoke cigarette. I'm almost not like I'm advertising smoking cigarettes. Just
That's
that's
an interesting
the only
correlation,
way
though.
I know why I quit. But like I sometimes pick up a little bit of writing, but I never get motivated to go back in again.
Mm.
And I sometimes really miss it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. You quit smoking. Yeah, as a kid, teenager, I used to smoke cigarettes quite a lot. But like, I mean, I don't want lung cancer, so I quit smoking.
Mm.
Luckily, uh, plenty of years ago. But yeah, I used to write a lot and I could completely dive into these stories. And you talking about your story motivates me to like pick up these stories again. I recently found an email of me sending my manuscript to a friend I used to have to proofread. And it was like I think uh 80K words about this whole magical
Nice.
world that I created with a whole storyline. And like, yeah, you're inspiring me to now pick up something again. I would love to.
It gets you stoked, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, me as
But where
well.
do you find the time? Because I'm full-time streaming right now. Like I'm editing for
No,
YouTube.
it's
I'm
hard.
editing
It's hard to
shorts.
find
I'm
the
like,
time. Yeah.
where in this whole part? I'm asking people to be here. It's so much time consuming. I wouldn't know where to put
Mm.
in like go sit down and write. Because it
It's difficult,
really
especially yeah, especially since, as a full-time streamer, when you do, like, take a day off, all you wanna do is rest on that day. You don't
Yeah.
wanna you wanna have 1 day a week where you just do nothing,
yeah.
and so it's hard to be productive on those days,
Mm.
for
I
sure.
didn't know if you guys have the same thing, but for me, I know that Vadim said something about turning all your hobbies into business
Yeah.
Yeah,
things before.
into careers, yeah.
I every single time I have something cool, I'm like, how can I make something more out of this? How can
Same.
I never do something just to do it. It always has to like have a purpose. I think that's partly the autism as well. But
I also
yeah.
cannot do that. Like I
Mm.
love to write for years, and then people said, "Oh, you're so good at it. You should do something with it." So I like joined
Mm.
some competitions, got published a few times through that, and someone said, "Oh, you have so much poems. You should make a poetry book." So I did. Then I sold like 400 copies or something. That's
Oh,
even
Oh,
wow.
not that
wow.
little.
That's dope.
And then my mom is still like giving them to friends. Like I still have a few boxes left. And like everything I do, and then with gaming as well, gaming World of Warcraft was my like, my chill moments. And now I don't Stardew Valley is the first game I've played in the last 6 years that I play offline. And that's also
Mm.
only because my partner, he's like, we never game together. You only want to game on stream. And
Oh,
I
Oh.
was like,
no.
find a game I want to play with you and we'll play it together. And I'm hooked on Stardew Valley.
Mm.
Um, so that's nice, but everything else, everything I do, like I went to London for a semi-work event. It was like a World of Warcraft event. And I get anxious when I take days off. So my best friend with who I went there said like, maybe you could make like a vlog. And then I was like, maybe I can. So we've been shooting content. If I find time to edit it, there will be a London vlog because everything I do, I'm thinking, how can I make this into more than just this?
Mm.
And I
Mm.
I think, honest to God, this is a very bad habit. Sorry,
Same,
No, I
my
think
girls.
it's
my
good.
brain kind of just goes, I love doing this thing, but also I need to survive and pay rent and bills. So how can I do this thing more, but also pay my way? I know.
But
I'll turn
I
it
mean,
into a
I'm not
Yeah.
career.
saying
And that's
it's
kind of how it
bad
works for
habit
me, I think.
for all of you. For me, because I end up with nothing that I just do to rest. There's nothing
Yeah.
in my life
Yeah.
I do to rest. Uh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
for me it's in the art of the thing itself more. So whereas I want the thing itself to have, value
Yeah.
to other people mostly. That's for me the
Yeah.
most important thing. Like when I'm streaming, I'm always thinking about this needs to have value for the viewers. It's not, I don't want to just be me playing the game and doing, I don't care about anything really after that. Like, and it's the same with my stories that I write, and that's why I write such heavy themes as well, because I want the story to be meaningful. I want people to get something out of it. I don't want to just have, I know there is like, just the fun of it is enough, but I want more than that. I want there to be just significant value in
Yeah, I know what you mean. I
That's really
think there's
cool.
value to
Yeah.
be had
Yeah.
in, like, if you're really enjoying something and you're putting your
Yes.
all into it and you're good at it, there is value in that authenticity, I think, as well.
Yes, I've
Yeah.
learned, but that I sort of learn over time, and then I forget again, and then I have to be reminded. That's why it's always such a nice thing, like such a sort of anchor as well, when you get a message from someone saying, "Listen, I've been watching your streams or lurking your streams for so long. I just want to say thank you for getting me through the shit."
Yeah, that's
Like
so
that is
special.
the most valuable thing
Yeah.
that you can give for a streamer, because it tells them what you're doing is fine. You know what I mean? You've got it. And we all have good days and bad days, and those messages make the bad days worth it. They make it
Yeah,
so that
100%. Yeah.
agreed.
you go, okay, I'm not having the best day. My chat's a little quiet. My viewership's not up. I haven't got any subs today. But 2 weeks ago, I got this message from this person. This person's probably lurking right now, and I'm probably making a difference in their life. And it makes that day worth it. And that way you can get up the next day and try again,
Yeah, if you can
And I
just
think
make a
that,
difference in just one person's day
yeah,
by what you're doing, 100%. And I think it's
and
so
you can
easy to forget.
then you can assume if it's not just one person, right?
Maybe
Yeah,
it's
right.
just one
Exactly.
person
That's one
saying
person
it.
that's like
Yeah.
come to you. Who knows
Yes,
who's yeah,
yes.
exactly.
So that's always such a nice thing. Yeah, more than people know. I think they think it's just a nice little. It's more than that.
Yeah, and it's so important to tell people like the positive things as well. I think online, especially like as we're live, we get trolls in and we're being very self-critical of ourselves perhaps, and it is so easy to start feeling a bit down about it. So I try hard now to remember to compliment people who I enjoy spending time with online in their streams, and I kind of actively try to do that more now, because I know it makes my day. And if I'm genuinely feeling positive because of someone else, I try to communicate that to them as well. It's really important to hear, not just for an ego boost, but obviously it's good to know
Also
that
for an
you're,
ego boost,
Yes.
but
sometimes
also for an
it's
ego boost.
so nice if people says the
Yeah.
content you make made me smile. If people say that to me, I'm like, smiling
and
is
it's
good,
just like that cycle of positivity, because then you go, oh, this is amazing. I'm going to keep doing it because I make people feel good, and then they feel good, and then you feel good, and it's like, yes.
Yeah.
But it also works the opposite around. So that's always something that I have in my Discord. We have a log channel for community members to talk when it's when you're not doing so well, because I try to keep the live problems away from the live stream, because the live with an F for the live stream, because sometimes I care so much about my community, and then something bad happens in their life, and if they say that in chat, because they I stream 40, 50, 60 hours a week, we spend a lot of time together, we are and they want to share like, oh, this happened, or oh, I'm having a bad day because, and like, of course you can say like, oh, today wasn't great, but like if people are really sad, I get sad, and then my content goes down because we get in this sad loop. So I have this rant and fun channel on the Discord, and I really want to invite like my community always to share also the negative.
Good idea.
But yeah, I do try to keep it a bit out of the live stream, because otherwise you can get in such a sad vibe, and then
It's
I think
tough
that's so
balance to
good.
strike. I think the Discord thing's actually a very good way of
I like that idea.
of
yeah.
allowing people to speak, but doing it in a kind of safer environment, because it is hard
and
to
it's
set
also
those
for the other
boundaries.
people in the community.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to open the Rent and Fun channel. You don't. It's not in the general page that all of a sudden
You're
you
not gonna
see someone
stumble
passed
upon.
away, or that someone got fired, or like a lot is happening in life. And sometimes it does go into the general chat because people are just talking. But yeah, I think it's also good when people are aware that in this live stream and that every message good, like the "Oh my God, you're doing so great," or "Oh, I someone in my chat said the other day, like Viev, I spit my drink over my keyboards um because you made me laugh so bad. Like I owe you a new keyboard or something like that. And I'm like, I get a little bit proud. I'm like, okay, so we're doing good. And like, yeah, both ways are
Yeah.
very important as a streamer. And the
Yeah,
bigger
because we're all
picture,
human at the
those,
end of the
yeah.
day, and people, you have the good bits and the bad bits, and it's a balance. I don't think it's always a good thing to have what I call like false positivity, where everything's good and fine all of the time, and it's really not. I'm very open and honest when I'm having a bad day. But yeah, I
Same.
like the idea of the Discord channel. That's great because it is really hard when somebody comes into your chat and they're having a really bad day. How do you acknowledge them and sit with them in that moment, but without, like you say, letting it get to you to the point where it's starting to affect
Yeah,
how
I when
you.
people start these kind of things, I say,
Mm.
I'm so sorry for you. If you want to talk more about it, we have a Discord channel for that. So like
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
so I do
Yeah.
acknowledge the moment, but I'm also sometimes when it's like really bad, I say like, but now we're in the happy place. This is the live stream, and then yeah. But also
Yeah.
I fuck up. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I
really
really let
hard
it get
position
it
to be
to me,
in.
and we have a very sad stream, and sometimes we need that.
It
Like
is.
yeah,
Mm.
Yeah, the trauma dumpers. Because but for me, the main thing isn't so much that it's gonna make me sad. For me, it's more that I it get awkward for me because I'm like, if I definitely can't spend too much time on this, but if I don't, it's rude.
yeah. Also
It
yes,
seems rude. So like to me to just go, oh, that sucks anyway. You know what I mean? Like I want to
Yeah.
move on because I want to do my stream, but I can't just, you know what I mean? So how long do I linger on it? And
yeah.
then that takes over the stream, and it's like it's a
I
problem for
always feel
sure.
like, especially when people mention someone dearly passed away in live chat, I always feel bad that I take a short moment to acknowledge it and always give the Discord as the
Mm.
option to talk more with the community about it. But then I do always say like, but not now. And I always feel like, oh, what if I ruined their life or their day or their moment? Like, but it's also we also have to protect the stream and all the other people. Like I
And
started
It's
streaming.
it's not just you, it's
Yeah,
everyone, and if that is your clear boundary as well, then that has to be respected,
Mm.
you know?
yeah.
Your boundaries are there for a reason for yourself. All of our boundaries will look slightly differently, but as long as they're clear, I think
but
it's good.
then I my cat needed surgery 3 weeks ago, and I've been crying on stream and like
Oh.
ending after one day I had a stream of 1 hour, then I started crying. I like left. And then for obvious reasons, he's doing well right now. He's still in the cone of shame, but Friday
Oh.
I'm going to the vet again, and I'm 90% sure she's gonna say that he can take the cone of shame off and stop the medication, but we're almost there. But like I was like, and then every time I said in Discord, like, okay, we're on stream, we're not gonna talk about Dobby. My cat's name is Dobby. Um, because it's my happy place, we're just gonna be happy. And then like 2 hours into the stream, I'm like, yeah, so I needed surgery and I'm so scared and this and
Oh.
that. And I'm like, oh shit, now I'm the one trauma dumping. Like I try to create a happy place, but then they are all like, oh, we care about the cat. So it goes both ways, but like, yeah, it's tough. You can have boundaries, but then still you don't know how boundaries work for yourself every now and then, and like just
Yeah, I
True.
mean
mix it up
it's
always.
also
But
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
and that
constantly
yeah.
confuses other
reassessing
people
mine.
again. Like, yeah.
I think it's also different because everyone there is there to see you, but not everyone there is there to see each other, right? So
Mm.
when you do it, it's a bit more okay, I think, especially because
Yeah.
they know why they're there, right? They're
Yeah,
there for you specifically. So
true.
I think
And
there
it's
is a
also
difference.
like we're
Yeah.
human. We bring
Mm.
ourselves to the stream no matter what.
Yeah.
And if we're having a very depressed day, we're having a very depressed day. And if we're having the
Mhm.
time of our life, we're having the time of our life. And I
Mhm.
think that's also okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, authenticity is
there's so
important.
many there's so many facets to that as well. Because I mean, the most important thing to me that I kept forgetting in the beginning is that I am here and my stream is running, but other people have to make the choice for themselves whether they want to watch the stream or not.
Yeah.
And if I start catering to what they want to see, I'm not going to be happy. I'm going to get burned out. What am I doing with my life if I'm just catering to other people? I can't, in that moment, make the choice to watch the stream or not, because without me, there's no stream.
Mm.
And other people, especially if there's like I did a mental health podcast at some point, and it was up to the people themselves to make the choice, do I want to watch this type of content or not? And at some point, you can't protect other people without either just tiring yourself out completely or crossing your own boundaries. And that's where you have to make choices. Especially in the beginning, I had such a big pressure onto myself. Like also when people like gifted a bunch of subs or when they had bad days, it's like, oh no, I felt this pressure to do something with that until
Yeah.
I realized that when people donate, I have to trust that they use their best judgment for what they can and cannot give. When
Yeah.
people are talking about certain topics, I have to trust their best judgment on what is good or bad for them, and that all I can do is guard my own boundaries in that.
Yeah.
And once I started doing that, I felt like the connection I had with those people became more honest as well.
Yeah.
So, and just being transparent about when you have a bad day is so healthy and helpful for other people in this world of social media where everyone is always happy and perfect and filtered to the max, and you compare their perfect pictures, like screenshots of their lives where you can't see the mess behind the camera, with your own life where you see every single mess. And
Yes.
that's why I think like showing your own vulnerability is so important in that.
Yeah, and I think
Agreed.
there's
I
no
actually
other.
I actually only realized this very recently is because I would always, I would always be like, you're so professional about it. I would be like, today, oh, it's like I've got all this shit going on in my life, but I'm gonna stream now and I'm gonna be straight faced and I'm gonna be professional about it. I'm gonna entertain and I'm gonna be doing it and that's my job and I'm gonna switch it off and I'm gonna go about my day. I'm gonna go cry in the corner, right? But recently I've just decided, for better or worse, I don't care. I'm just gonna if I'm feeling this or that, I'm just gonna tell everybody. I don't care. I don't even care what the
Mm.
consequences are. I'm just gonna be like, I'm not gonna stream tomorrow. I don't feel like it. It's like no more like pretending that everything is okay or
I actually noticed the consequences are good because when I talk about
so
my
yeah,
depression, I've been
yeah,
struggling with depression for a really long time. And sometimes I'm just in a bad mood and I feel it starting or I it's not going so well. And I started talking about it on the stream every now and then in like brackets. I don't want a 8 hour stream where we're all talking about depression
Mhm.
and how my life sucks and all the hateful thoughts, intrusive thoughts that I have. But sometimes I give it a little bit of, place. And I got those messages that you mentioned before, Miss Fifi, that people reach out to you to say what kind of impact you have on their life. After I started to be more open about it, they were, feeling more connected and they were seeing this mirror where they were like, oh, I never thought someone like you. You're always so energetic and bubbly. And I didn't know you also struggled with depression. And it was normalizing depression for them to
yeah.
allow that they can feel both. You can be a happy, joyful person at a lot of times and still have thoughts that want to, do bad thoughts. And it opened that up for them. So I'm actually very happy I decided to talk about it, even though at first I was, very afraid that it would backfire and people would be like, go away. What are you doing with your intrusive thoughts and bad moments in my happy, joyful
It's
feast stream?
monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Miss Fadams, I think you also wanted to uh,
Oh,
say
I was just
something.
gonna say, like, there's not really any other content medium like live streaming in that sense.
Yeah.
Um, it's very much sure we do planning. Some of us do planning, some of us don't to certain degrees. But at the end of the day, it's long form content that is really bare bones. It's really one of the only mediums where you can just show up and be yourself, and people are really. I'm not saying this is the reason to show your full emotional capacity, but people are here for that. I think most people are here for that. They're here to see you and all sides of you, whether that's the good stuff and the bad stuff. Yeah, it's refreshing. It's really refreshing. rather
I
than
also think
going to
that
other places and seeing the very best of people, as it were, in photos or in carefully edited videos and things like that has its place as well. But there's something very special about the live streaming space, I think, for that authenticity. And it's certainly good for me. I mean, I'm going through late diagnosed autism and ADHD, which I kind of mentioned a little bit. And all of the kind of stuff that comes with that, and going through a neurodivergent burnout. And I've been very open and honest with my chat about that. And that helps me massively, because if I feel like I'm having a weird day, then they kind of know that that's what it is, and it makes me feel more relaxed, and hopefully it encourages others as well to speak upon their problems and normalize it, like you said, Viev. I think that's really important. Yeah.
there's
Nice.
also
Thank you for
moments
sharing. Yeah,
like
Desca.
if you because so many people watch your streams and you brighten their days, but when you are vulnerable, like first of you create an environment where people see examples of people they admire that are talking about these vulnerabilities, which I think encourages people to speak up about their insecurities, vulnerabilities as well. Like you have a platform, might as well use it for something good. But also, when you do that, you're kind of allowing those people to be there for you as well. And at first, I was like, "But that's weird. Like, I can't expect my viewers to like be there for me like that." But I forgot that we make such a big difference for some of these people, and they are really grateful to do the same for you. And that just really sets a tone for how, like, at least what I noticed, how interactions between people in general go. And it just becomes so much more positive when we do that. And the world could use some positivity right about now, I think.
True. Yeah, we in Discord, we also have a something good channel where we can just say something that went well in the day. It's actually something I should do for my psychologist, and look also on every day has something positive. And it can be like a stranger smiling to you on the street, or a friend that called or texted, or something on stream. And yeah, I feel like I should give that channel a little bit more attention again, because we can all use something positive and find the positive around us.
I might steal that idea from you. That's a
Yeah,
really good one.
please take it.
You have
Yeah.
some cool Discord ideas.
Yeah.
A while ago, we were having a topic of Desca introduced that she has a 14-page planner for her YouTube channel that never existed. MissVadams, we were at you. Do you plan things out for your stream?
Very vaguely. I started dual streaming to YouTube recently, and I've not done the thing that a lot of streamers do when they do that. They'll often create a separate VOD channel, which makes a lot of sense because YouTube's algorithm is quite complex, and that can be beneficial to kind of keep your VOD separate from your edited content. But I decided I don't have a lot of spoons right now, so I'm just going to throw everything into one channel, and I kind of had to start planning things a little bit more, there's benefits to having, making thumbnails for each stream on YouTube, whereas on Twitch, I don't know why, it doesn't really seem to matter as much. People don't really do it. And also
I
thinking
didn't know
about
it was
planning.
possible on Twitch.
Yeah, like I mean, I know a few people that do it, but most of the time, I don't do it for Twitch, but I do it for YouTube, because I feel like there's a way to kind of, I have found, to curate my playthroughs. Like sometimes I do like first looks at new games and kind of reactionary kind of content to new games, but sometimes I do want to just sit and do a full playthrough. And where I do full playthroughs, I'll make playlists of all of those streams, and I'll try to kind of design the thumbnails, think about searchable terms in the titles so that people might want to go back and look at that series because they're searching for a particular kind of thing or topic in that game. For example, I'm doing a V Rising playthrough at the moment, and so each stream is kind of titled around something I'm planning to do, whether that is, okay, we're doing these bosses today, today's going to be a castle building stream, blah, 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 blah. And I found I've had to plan more because of that. However, sometimes I'll have this fantastic plan of exactly how I want each stream to go in the week. Great. And then I'll get there and I just completely go off target of what I'm doing. We call it squirreling in my stream for those that have watched the Disney Pixar film Up.
Yes.
Has anybody seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The little
Sounds accurate.
dog
Mm.
with the neck brace, and he goes squirrel because he's getting
Oh, like that.
distracted
I
every
was thinking
time.
about how squirrels run around always and
Yeah.
like go from tree to tree. Like the
Yep.
squirrel itself is also squirreling. Yeah.
So I start with good intentions, and then that happens pretty much. Yeah.
It's nice. I sometimes have a plan as well that I'm like, oh, this tree game will be released, and then I do this and that and that, and then I like fall in love with the game. Like last week, I fell in love with Clair Obscur. I've only played that. Every stream turned into that game, and now I finished it, and I don't know what to do with my life anymore.
Was it
Yeah.
good? Because I'm hearing really great things about it.
It
It
is
was
good. Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
Really? I might
It's
have to
also
do it.
it's not easy. But they have an easy mode, so if you just want to do the story, but it's also emotionally a lot. It's very intense. But the
Good
plot
story.
twist there, I don't want to say anything, but oh, it's so
Okay.
good. Yeah,
Be
I really
prepared.
liked it. It's my kind of game. Yeah.
Little question though, Venoms, do you have a squirrel emote? Because apparently there's no squirrel emote in the global
Ah.
ones.
I don't, but I feel like that is a fantastic emote
That's
idea.
not yet.
Not
Get a
yet.
squirrel.
Sub
Also,
goal, sub goal.
Yeah,
talking
that's
about
a great
goals,
idea.
I would love to hear what are your streaming goals or streaming career goals for the next year or 5 years if you have like a big plan. Desca, do you want to start?
Oh God. Well, I'm actually not entirely sure. Like I have so many things that I'm working on that I'm doing that I want to do more with, but I have to like start to really choose because I'm also like I love to sing. I have like some like smaller gigs, but how much
Cool.
time am I gonna focus on that, and how much time am I gonna focus on this? Because but I'll have to show it now. Wait, hold on. Oh, exposed. This is why I love being a streamer. You can wear pajama pants and no one will ever know.
Always. I wear
Until now.
leggings. Also, guys, just to tell you, we were setting up for stream to say how well organized Desca is. She said, "Oh my god, everybody is wearing red. I'm not wearing red." And then she
Oh,
went to
yeah.
change
I was
before the
still in
stream
my
started,
workout
so she would
clothes.
fit in with the streamers, and I just absolutely love that.
I was wearing my sports bra. I was like, no, I have to change anyways. Might as well grab something red. But I actually wrote something as well. This is like the first like 4 chapters of what's about to be eventually a 3-book series, I think.
Oh,
You're
I
also
started
a
writing this.
writer.
Yeah,
Everybody's
that's
a
what I was
writer.
talking about. I was like,
All
should
three
I?
of you are writers. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
but I haven't touched this in so long, like
But
a
you
couple
printed
months.
it.
Yeah, because this is technically it's for my best friend, Saku. She's amazing, and I think it has the like dedication. Yes, this Saku, my platonic
So-
soulmate. We walk our own path and pave it as we go.
I
I came up with
love
that
that.
myself. I was so proud. I used to write like short stories for her birthdays, and it was more like yeah, short stories. Even though I think one of them was like 20K words at some point. But then
Nice.
she wanted to do more with proper books, and it's so difficult to really film for something if you don't have the rights. So I said, screw it, I'm gonna write a book, and then I have the rights, and I decide what happens. You can film whatever you want.
That's
So I
so
started
nice.
writing. Just basically all of her favorite genres and tropes are in this, but I have to finish still. So I have so many different things that I want to work on. So I don't know where I'm gonna be in a year, let alone 5. Though I do hope that first of all, I want to start streaming earlier in the day. Because I'm mostly doing night streams and my sleep schedule is messed the frick up. And in terms of streams itself, I don't know. I want to get back to making YouTube videos more again. So I think my passion is more in like creating content, and I've been a little bit down since I haven't made the same kind of videos. Because with cosplay, we made music videos, and I love like I'm an adrenaline junkie in terms of like the rush that I get when I create a video like that and put it online. So I want to make bigger content, but also this is also like wildly different. It's an idea that I've had for a very long time, even since before Markiplier did the big make your own decisions video. I had something kind of similar that I wanted to do, but it was Attack on Titan themed. And then one day I'm gonna make it.
You're
So I have
gonna make
so
it.
many
That's
things.
awesome. Like I said, goals for the year or 5 years or maybe 10 years, but
Have a better sleep schedule is my main goal.
It's a big
that's a
one.
really good goal
It's a
and
good
not
goal to
not the
have.
first time that is
Yeah.
being mentioned as a goal in this podcast. Very
Just figure
valid.
out what the heck I'm gonna do with the rest of my life after. Like, I don't know.
One step at a time. You pave the way while you're on it. You said it so much better.
What was it? We walk our own path, or we make our own path and pave it as we go.
Pave them on
Yeah,
the
we
way.
walk our own
Yeah.
path and pave it as we go.
Love it. That's so
So
good.
that describes my life pretty well.
I love that.
That's great.
Thank you for
I
sharing.
feel left out. I feel like I don't really write things.
I used
We
to
can
write.
change that.
I mean,
What's your favorite genre?
when I was a child, I did have a child's poem published about a snail. So maybe I can be included in the writers' club, kind of.
You are. If you want to be included in the writers club, you're a published writer.
Yeah, I guess I am technically as a child, but yeah. What are my goals? I kind of have a couple. I have a very practical one, which is I would like to be a bit more financially stable. like one day I would
I
love
mean,
to...
I meant realistic goals, okay?
Yeah, I know,
We're
right?
streamers. We're
streamers
doomed.
for crying out loud. But
Don't tell my mom.
what I mean by
Sorry,
that
bad
is
joke.
I would just I would like to own my own house one day. I don't really care about making lots of money and stuff like that. I would just like to have enough that I can buy a cottage in the countryside and have a cat and just play video games with my community all day and not
That
have to
sounds
worry. That
awesome.
would be lovely. Just to kind of, but I think one of my kind of bigger kind of long-term goals that I'm kind of figuring out for myself at the moment is kind of having a more stronger sense of self identity online. I feel like going through this whole burnout thing I've been doing because it's been a very long burnout for me over the past few years, and I'm like working my way out of it, and my sense of self has like been pulled apart completely, and I'm realizing I'm kind of putting my authentic self back together, as it were, and I look forward to the time where I become more comfortable in that within the online space as well. Because I look up to a lot of people who I think, oh my God, they probably haven't got their shit sorted, but they look as if they have.
They don't.
Absolutely, they don't.
They're bold and they're confident, even if, we're all human and we all have
But it's a great
our
goal
flaws
to
and
work to
whatnot.
find yourself again and
But
take
yeah,
steps from
I
there.
I feel I struggle sometimes, for example, going to a convention and, people expect you to kind of deliver this elevator pitch, don't they? And I often stand there and go,
Wait, who expects
I?
that?
Well, I don't know. I feel like it's like a common conversation, right? When you're meeting people within your
What do
same
you do?
space. And they're
But
like, well,
you've
what
met
do you
me.
do
My
then?
elevator pitch is shit, and still you're sitting here.
But yeah, it's like I would like to kind of, feel a bit more confident, I guess.
I think that's a really good
in
goal.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
wouldn't put the bar too high and make it like this perfection thing of having like
I
the
know,
perfect
I'm terrible at that. I'm
elevator
so
pitch of
bad.
yourself. Like you don't. Like we'll
But
make
even
it.
just realizing, I think coming to the realization that it doesn't have to be perfect as well. That's
Yeah.
why I talk about the confidence thing, like being confident in the imperfect, which we all are, aren't we? But
Yeah.
that's my
I think
goal.
there's two sides to that. There's the obvious side that we always talk about, where it's like, this other person that you look up to, sort of has this confidence that they exude, but in the background they just as insecure as you, right? There's that part. We all know that part. But there's
Yeah.
also another part, is that the way that you come across is not necessarily as unconfident as you think it is, right? Like, because you have the insecurities, you think that you're not, and that person obviously probably doesn't even think that they don't even think that they come across as that confident, right? So other people see you in exactly the same way as you see them. Sometimes you're like, oh, this person
Yeah,
has
it's
got
very
their shit
true.
together,
How you
right?
perceive yourself can often be very different to how
Yes,
other people perceive
yes.
you. I think that's the thing for me. I want to be able to perceive myself maybe in a more confident light,
Yes, yes.
how other people see me maybe. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
you
we're
seem
our own
you
worst
seem very
critics.
you seem very confident to me, honestly.
Oh, well, thanks. It's
Yeah.
all a mask.
No, but
Hey,
I do
then
think
in that
when
case,
you
it's just
speak,
about making the mask your real face. Because
Mhm.
again, when we met, like you're there, you're with cool people, you're I mean, fine cool. I say cool, but then not the high school bully cool. Like you're cool. I'm not making this weird now. I can make everything weird. That's one of my many talents. But
Authentic
I
cool, yeah.
perceived you as a really intriguing person. That's also why I wanted to invite you today and
Oh,
why I wanted to learn more about you. So I do think Miss Fifi has a big point of that maybe you're already a little bit further like on the outside than that you're
thanks,
mentally.
guys.
And
You're
it
so
just has to
nice.
start
yeah,
matching.
I
I
want to
remember
pile
when
on
we
to
met
that.
Vive, and it's funny that you say cool. So how I met Vive was at Paris TwitchCon at the partner party, and it was in the middle of the heat wave,
Hey,
and there
no,
was one
we were
there
in
was
a
one
cool
air
place.
conditioning unit in the entire party, and I met Vive like huddled, like there were so many of us just like huddled under this air conditioning unit, and that's how we met.
Cool story, right?
Cool
Yeah,
story.
literally. But
Oh,
Yes.
I want to quickly pile on. The way I think I perceive you as confident is the way you speak is very deliberate with word choices, and that usually shows like a bigger understanding of you don't just talk about random shit. Like you know what you want to say and you're very clear in the communication. And also the
Very,
wild variety of things you have done. Not just everyone does that. And you have
mhm.
this air of maybe not confidence in yourself, but confidence in the things that you know about. And I
Oh,
respect that.
oh,
So
Yeah.
thank
often
you.
when I get too insecure, I just start rambling and I dig a hole
Yeah.
for myself. And so when I see that in another person, I respect that. Just wanted to
Oh,
mention that.
well, I've dug plenty of holes for myself, if it's any consolation.
And you're good at hole digging. What are you not good at? Jesus, multi-talented.
Hole digging. I can't say I've ever dug a hole in my life
Mm.
physically, but
Mm.
mentally,
hey,
yes.
we can put it on the goal list. But thank you for sharing your streaming goals and your personal goals. I really hope it's going to work out for you and you can become that confident person that you want to be on the outside and inside for you. Miss Fifi, what are your streaming career goals? No, wait.
Um,
Did we already do that?
not for me now.
No, right? No.
I yeah. No, my streaming career goals. I think, just keep growing, really. Growth is always everyone's goal, really, isn't it? And also, yeah, I don't know. I want to also the same as what Miss V said about I would also like that uh, financial security at some point where it's just like completely not even a concern anymore. That would be nice. That would be a nice thing, right? The dream. But other than that, the streaming itself, I don't really have a goal. I think my like set goals are more towards my writing than my streaming at this point, right? Like I'm getting older. I'm probably not going to stream for the rest of my life, and I do love it and I do enjoy it, and it is my thing. It's where I spend most of my time. Um, and I guess the writing is more of a if I can make that work, it's almost like a retirement plan. Obviously, if I can be like super successful at the stream, that's fantastic. And then
Hey, there's
I don't have to
streamers
worry.
that are like in their 80s and are killing it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
Yes.
have
So
to be a
Mm.
reason
it
to quit
doesn't have to
stream
be.
age.
No, no, no.
Mm.
I'm just saying it
Maybe
doesn't have to.
lifestyle. Yeah.
But I we all want to explore different things too. Um, you know, and yeah, I do still love streaming. I would love to grow it more and so on. And if it does become extremely successful, then yes, then I can keep going pretty much forever then because there'll be more motivation in it, right? But yeah, as it is, my I don't really have any sort of set goals like, oh, end of this year I want to do this, or this year I plan to do this. Like I said, I wing my streams mostly. So I don't really have any sort of stream related projects. Because for me, streaming is day to day. I'm just like, what am I going to do today? Really, because it's such a live performance.
Mm.
I
Mm.
sort of just take it in stride. So for me, it's hard to have I have ambitions, but not necessarily goals, if that
That's
makes
good.
sense.
That's
Mm.
good.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think I can add to that, like my goal, and that's why I joked at MissVadams, because I'm so sorry about that. I really hope you will be financially stable and can buy your house. Like, honest to God, I really hope so, because I hope it's for me too, and I hope it's for all the streamers.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
but it's definitely one of my main goals would be to also be more financial stable and maybe work more with brands over that I'm dependent on my community, also because I want them to spend the money also on like their own things. So that is one of my goals, is to look how can I make it more, how can I work more with brands and game companies. Um, but most of all was this year is my goal to start streamers and stories, which is something that's been on my mind for I think the last 3 or 4 years. But I never thought I didn't have the mental capacity to go for it because I was so overworked. And
Mm.
I recently went full time as a streamer, and I thought finally now I can do this and have this as well being part of my streaming career. So I'm so incredibly happy with all three of you to be here today and be my guest, because this is truly one of my dreams, to get streamers together, share their story, share how great it is, the things that we do. Like, I share these podcasts with my mom, and they're also for another audience. They go on YouTube, by the way, guys. Follow the YouTube if you want.
Can I go do it right
Do
now?
it. No, if you want. Mandatory. Do it. And comment on the videos on YouTube if you want. Mandatory if you want. And but I think it's really cool to share a little bit more about the streamers, and also, show how much there is to a streamer outside of just the gaming that we do. Um, so yeah, that's a goal, and hopefully to remain financially stable enough to be a full-time streamer, because this is absolutely the dream for me, and I love it so 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 much. So thank you, girls, again for being on this stream. I would love to know, like, what is your plan next week? Why should people follow you, and what are you going to do on Twitch? Desca, do you want to start?
Ooh, I just got my dad actually got me an early birthday gift for the singing thing. I have like a new mixer panel and I'm gonna get a better microphone like for singing. So one of the sub goals that we recently got was that I was gonna do a singing stream. So that's upcoming next week, I hope.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, currently, like I said, I play a lot of variety. I somehow started playing horror games. I hate horror games, but apparently it's fun to see me suffer. Thanks. So we do that a lot as well. But currently, I joined the Paper SMP, which is a Minecraft SMP, so survival multiplayer. I had to Google that. I'm definitely not old. And yeah, we have a whole storyline. It's a full-on roleplay server, and my character is an engineer. So I am finally gonna get started with my first redstone project. I'm gonna make a secret basement. So
Exciting. Thank
yeah.
you so much for sharing. And guys, follow Desca. She's absolutely amazing. Don't forget to also follow her Instagram to see more of all the epic cosplays that she does, that she talked about, because it's absolutely incredible. Miss Fifi, what's on the schedule the next week?
So I used to do a lot of survival crafting games, like Miss V over here. That's how we met.
Yeah.
And
Conan, I think.
yeah, Conan is my most streamed game to date. And I got completely burned out on the entire genre, and
Mm.
started dabbling in different things. And then I got into simulation. So I got all the you guys saw the clips earlier with the
Yep.
steering wheel, and it's a lot
So
of fun.
cool.
It's
Your
it's a
setup
vibe.
is
Very well on the
absolutely
wine.
amazing.
Yeah, it was so fun drinking and driving on the thing, only in the game chat. And we I've been having a blast with that, and it's been good for my stream as well. The communities in those games are amazing, and it's been amazing to me. And so that is ongoing. But now I'm dipping my toes back into the survival crafting games again a little bit, playing some Conan, stream some Conan today actually, and have my own dedicated server where people can join and so on. And yeah, so I'll definitely be doing a bit more of that again. off and on in the future, in the next week or so. I'm probably going to do some Enshrouded as well, because I haven't played that in ages. There's been a bunch of thingies, and I'll definitely do some more trucking and driving, and I've even done like literal F1 races and stuff, which is completely outside
Ooh.
my comfort zone, but it's so much fun. It's actually so much fun, and everyone's so engaged with it. Yeah, I like to do things that are the reason I play mostly simulations and sandboxes and stuff is because I like to be able to just pause whatever I'm doing at any time and just have a conversation with the chat. I like
That's
to,
nice.
every stream for me is a just chatting stream with some game in the back going on over here. You know what I mean? And I like to do it. I like Farm Simulator, where I like to take games that don't have stories and tell a story in it.
Yeah.
Tell my own
That's
story
really
in it.
cool.
So yeah, so when I play Farm Simulator, we start a small little farm, and when we together decide what are we going to do? Oh, we're going to get some pigs, but pigs are too expensive. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out how to get the money to do that, and then we'll do this, and then we start getting chickens, and then suddenly we have 1 million chickens, and we're generating 1 million eggs per day, and now I have to put a bunch of eggs on a truck, and it's become this mountain of literal eggs that I have to drive down, and if I make any sort of sudden move, the whole thing tips, and we make a whole story out of it, and we do the same with all the simulation games and all the sandbox games, and we have a horse farm where we name the horses after the subscribers in chat, and so that's their opportunity to get me to ride them, and then that's it.
Ah,
And then
okay.
we so I'm gonna be doing just more of that in the future. In the next week, I'm like I said, I'm dipping my toes back into the survival genre again. I might give the V Rising another go at some point,
I'm
since there's
loving
more
it so
content
much.
there now.
So
But
a variety of games with a lot of
yeah,
chatting and epic driving
yes.
skills. Uh,
If there's a good story game or something that comes out, or RPG or something that I'm really interested in, I just jump on that too. I've also played Clair Obscur. I've also played um, you know, stuff like that, and I might even play like the new Doom that's coming out, right? Like I just do anything. But I do
awesome.
but yeah, for the moment, that I think where my strength is things that are more interactive between me and chat, where we can just take my eyes off anytime and go
It's
into a
lovely.
conversation, because we talk about all kinds of stuff in my stream.
Oh,
My
guys,
chair
follow
looks
Miss
comfy.
Fifi for all that amazing content. And thank you again for being here. Miss Fadams, what are you going to do next week and why should people follow you?
Well, a bit like MissFiefie, I'm probably going to be playing Enshrouded for the rest of this week because they've had a massive update and they've got Twitch drops. So I'm probably going to jump into that for the rest of this week. And then next week, I've actually got a front page slot on Tuesday.
Ooh.
And I'd initially signed up for it because June Awakening was supposed to launch that day, and then they freaking moved it.
Oh, you're
Oh
So now
kidding.
June Awakening is happening in June, which is a horrible tongue twister. And so now I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do? Because I have this front page slot. And
Singing
if you,
stream.
if
Singing
you,
stream.
no, I'm
Singing
not doing
stream.
stream, damn it. But yeah, I'm in two minds of what to do. One of them was to jump into Clair Obscur because people are raving about it. And I have a key for it. So I'm thinking, why don't I just I don't usually play RPGs per se unless they're really special, because I like games a bit like MissFiefie was saying, where like sandbox games where I can kind of make up my own kind of narrative and story as I'm going. But I'm honestly tempted to jump in on that on Tuesday. If not, one of the main games I play is something called Project Zomboid. And I've played that game to death. I love it so much. But there's a mod called the Skyscraper Challenge, where you spawn at the top of a 32-story skyscraper, and your challenge is to get to the bottom without dying. If you die, you have to start again. And it's full of zombies.
Amazing.
So that's my other thought that I was going to do. So Tuesday is quite a big stream for me, because it's on the front page. And then I've also started a beginner's guide to Project Zomboid on YouTube as
Oh,
well.
cool.
So I'll be bringing out another episode of that next week as well. So yeah, quite busy week, I guess.
Awesome. People say, please do some singing right now. Is that something you consider?
I'm not gonna
No.
sing right now.
No, not warmed up. No,
I'm
No,
no.
no, no.
I'm not very good at being put on the spot.
Cool.
Yeah,
Then I'll
maybe
tell,
next
but
Sabaton.
then I
Some people
think we
can,
have to
but
really focus on another subathon, and maybe it will be a goal.
Can you do that,
maybe go
Desca?
drop some donos, you know? Maybe
Can
that'll
you
help.
sing on the
Maybe
spot,
she
or are
sings,
you
maybe she
like me?
doesn't.
I can't do it on the spot.
No, I
Uh,
gotta plan that.
Yeah, you gotta plan it, exactly.
yeah, I have to plan it. Yeah, I don't sing, so I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
Well,
it's
it's a
like when
big
someone walks up
difference
to
between warmed up and not warmed up. Let's put it like
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like when someone walks up to a comedian and goes, "Be funny."
oh
Be funny
God,
or else.
yeah.
I actually have a
Uh,
front page slot. I actually have a front page slot. Well, I applied for it the day after Dune Awakening launches.
Oh, so
oh,
is
The
yours
11th.
applied for in June then?
In 11th of June, yes. So I hope I
Yes!
get it. I hope I get it, and then I
I
hope
hope you get
Dune
it
doesn't
too.
delay again. And then I hope
yeah.
Dune doesn't delay again. That would suck. But
No, they
because
better
I
not
did it
delay it.
specifically, yeah, I did it specifically for that launch. And
Yeah.
I've learned my lesson that do not plan my front pages for the day of launch, but the day after launch.
Yeah, that's actually, I
one
mean,
day
I would have
extra.
still been
That's
out, but
smart.
yeah.
Yeah,
Good
I
idea.
actually have my front page this Sunday.
Oh!
Oh, nice.
Because I also applied for something that's not gonna happen anymore, but I'm gonna do something
Oh,
new.
What's it mean? And I felt so stupid to ask, so I had to Google it. I feel so old.
Oh my God.
There's no shame.
Yeah. No.
It's the
yeah.
amount of times I ask chat to explain something is pathetic. I know nothing of the internet. This is one of the reasons why I'm a streamer. Why I ask Google if you can just, have people type in chat what it is. Viv does not know memes. I ask them to explain them. It's pathetic. It's also content, I suppose. I really like to get educated on things that are apparently common knowledge. And I'm learning. I'm learning. Yeah.
Of you. And it's more efficient than having to Google it, you know? They're like, AO chat answers. And they're like,
Unless they're like going like, what do you not know?
No, chat can lie and they can tell you something that's not true and then you believe it.
oh,
I do
don't
that a
give them
lot.
ideas. Don't give them any ideas.
My
Yeah.
chat doesn't do that. My chat, right, guys? Right?
Right?
I was playing the Dune Awakening beta weekend last weekend, and chat was telling me if you die to the sandworm more than once, it gives you a pity bike because the game feels sorry for you. So I just kept dying to the sandworm over and over again, and it wasn't happening.
You never got the pity bike. Oh, no.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
didn't get the
no.
pity bike. No.
Oh no. I absolutely love that you believed it though.
Mhm.
Well, the funny thing is, it turns out that it is true, but it only happens under very certain circumstances. Because I watched it happen on someone else's stream, but I did waste like half an hour
Oh God.
trying to recreate it.
Oh. That's really cool. I'm
Wow.
really excited for Doom, by the way. Like I got the invite for the weekend and I was like, but I'm away. But yeah,
Ah.
I'm curious. It's gonna be good.
It's good.
Doom.
but-
Who's gonna play Doom? Can I see hands?
I'll play it.
Yeah, we have two people, Sheepy, who are gonna play Doom. We were now talking about
Nice.
Dune. Who's gonna play Dune? Can I see hands?
We say Doom or Dune.
Yeah, he was asking. I thought he was like asking who's going to play Doom. And then I was like, oh, but
Oh.
sure, we can do a check. But he was asking, is it Doom or Dune? We were talking about Dune, but they're also going to play Doom.
Dune.
Yeah.
Doom.
Doom.
Oh, but
Doom.
I know,
Doom, the
I know,
Christian
by the way,
game.
that Viev is going to be at TwitchCon, TwitchCon Europe. I will be there as well. Are you guys going to be there?
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
I cannot afford to travel to Europe. I want to eventually. My big goal is to move to Europe, join you guys there, but that's long term, and I don't know how I'm gonna do that. But just traveling there for a little bit, I can't really.
No, it's crazy
make that
expensive to
happen.
travel
Yeah.
far. Like I had that last year with like going to TwitchCon San Diego. I absolutely loved that, and part of it was sponsored. But like if I would have to pay that all by myself, I couldn't have done it. Hey,
Oh.
Moana.
Cat.
Oh no,
Sorry.
no. What she does
Oh.
is like she's doing this against my I have two stream decks. So sometimes she presses a button and then like everything changes. Or I change
Aw,
the scene or
so
mute or
fluffy.
yeah. But she's
I would
cute.
forgive her. She's so cute.
It's
Like, she could mess up the entire stream. It's fine. She's just a girl.
She's one of the prettiest cats I've ever seen. Like, honest to God, she's like, she's not showing herself. She's laying here. I'm gonna make a compilation one day. This is also something on my to-do list. Put it on my goals list for this year of all the times she interrupts my gaming, because I have like this second camera that like shows this part, and she will like sit on my arm while I'm trying to move the mouse. And there was this time where she showed cats. Okay, Moana, just want to might be a bit cranky. Oh, meow.
What a kitty.
Hey, pretty.
Pretty kitty.
Yeah,
She
she's
wants
like
to
a
go back now.
miniature Boscat or something, but she's mostly just want to sleep right now. Yeah. Oh,
I have a question. If we still have a few minutes.
yeah.
So, obviously, maybe if we can get like quick answers on it, because we only have a few minutes, is I was wondering if you guys have any like quick bite-size piece of advice for newer streamers that you think could be valuable. Because mine would be
have fun.
All right, because mine would be like, that's a good one. Have fun. It's important. It's important, because if you enjoy yourself, then other people can see that you, and that's what they come for, right? My piece of advice would be, because I see a lot of people start, when things like follow bots happen, or things like people, hate raids, or people doing nasty things in their chat or stuff like that. A lot of people start to like panic about it, and they start to like feel weird about it, and they start to get anxious about it, as the streamer themselves start to get like that. So my advice would be to always remember that there is only one person in control of your stream, and that's you, and no one else can really do anything in your stream. So take a second and just breathe, and then just deal with it, even if it takes you a long time to deal with it. And while you're dealing with it, people keep doing these things in your chat. Everybody who's there understands that you're currently trying to do something about it. There's no need to panic. There's no need to you are in control. Nobody else can do anything. And I feel like a lot of people need to realize that those people actually don't have any power in your stream. So
You have the power. I love that. That's really good advice.
Yeah.
How about you, MissVadams? Any piece of advice for starting streamers?
Like focus on consistency as well. And what I mean by consistency is not necessarily streaming every day. Maybe you're consistently streaming once a week at the same time on the same day. Try and keep a schedule, because then people will know when to expect you. And people are creatures of habit as well. Think about when you want to sit down and watch your favorite TV shows, or listen to when your favorite podcast comes out. You know when that's going to happen exactly, and your viewers will fall into that habit for you as well. So yeah, even if it's once or twice a week for 2 hours at a time, just try to make it as consistent as possible. It really helps.
I completely agree. However, if you're not consistent and an idiot of now it's an evening stream, now it's a day stream, now it's a different stream, it will work out maybe as well for you. But consistency.
Sorry, I don't mean to like poop on anyone.
No. I know. But every time people say you have to be more consistent, and I hear that a lot. But for my mental health, consistency did not work. So I'm just there as much as possible. Trust me.
But I think something good to then add to that would be to say, if you can't be consistent, be communicative, because sometimes we need to take days out unexpectedly. Something comes up. We have a bad mental health day. You utilize Discord for that. It's great. Have a Discord. Put an announcement
power
out.
outages.
Be like, hey, power outage. Hey, bad mental health day. Hey, this, communicate.
But again, I completely agree. In theory, being consistent often shows that it's the best thing to do as a starting streamer. So I completely vouch for what MissVadams says. I just want to say from personal experience, it might take a little bit longer, but you'll get there. Also, if you're not consistent, because I'm still here, and I guess there's people watching here, so hi. So yeah.
Consistency is key, but not consistency over mental health.
I guess.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
100%.
But other than
But
that, it's really good advice. I'm so sorry. I was just hiding because I know
No, it's
how
good.
often
It's good to
people have
speak up on
told me.
things.
Yeah,
Absolutely. We
too.
don't all have the same experiences as well, you
that's
know.
yeah.
Mm,
And that is super important. Like all streamers are
yeah.
different. If you start streaming and you like something and you try it out and it works for someone else, but it doesn't work for you, that's possible.
Mm,
It's also possible to try things that work for you but not for others. And that's why I always say the most important thing is fun. I often have people that ask for feedback and they're saying like, "Hey, I want to be a streamer. What should I do?" Blah 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 blah. And they just want to be successful right away. And like my first 4 years, I streaming cost me so much money. But I loved it and I
mm,
was having fun. And that's what brought me through all days. And I know a few streamers that they lost the fun and they got into a burnout because you are giving you all so many hours a week. So if you don't think it's fun and you're doing things only for the views, please consider that you want to do this long term. So you have to stay close to yourself. You have to stay close to the fun. And of course, you can take like, little trips out to do things that are working good for the views or for the finances or whatever. But most of all, you will need to enjoy it. Otherwise, this is way too
mm.
draining for you and you won't be able to make it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I would
I
say
would
that.
also say especially if you're very new, turn off the view count. Don't look at it. Just always
Yeah.
assume people are lurking and they're watching, even if they're not chatting. And also, if we were to be quiet for 5 seconds right now, that's a long ass time. Like, just sit down if you want to stream. Sit down with your phone with like the clock app on it and be quiet for 5 full seconds. It's really boring. You always want to be like narrating what you're doing or telling little stories. Just always talk
Yes.
and assume people are watching. And also, don't pigeonhole yourself. Do something you actually want to do and not something you think will make you successful. Because if it really ends up blowing up, you're going to be stuck doing something that
Mhm.
works and not something that you want
Oh.
to do. And that just sucks. And that's how you get burnouts. Make
It's
it
not
fun and
sustainable,
people will
yeah.
come. And also to add on
Yeah.
to MissFiefie, very valid one for like hate raids. People are very anxious about it. Just know where the set chat to emote only button is. And if something
Mhm.
happens, just muscle memory, poof, poof, emote only. Take a deep breath, you can deal with it. It'll be
Oh,
totally fine.
and if you have a
Yeah.
stream deck, you can put your alert box as like an on-off source on there. Because I know you can technically pause your alert somewhere, but I haven't found the button yet. So I just disable the alert box itself, which is super easy.
Yeah.
And then I'll figure out where the pause button is. Yeah. So
Twitch
yeah.
also has safe mode as well, which I have a button for that, or shield mode, I should say, which you can change a bunch of those settings to what you want to happen if you need to press that emergency button, and it will do things like mine, for example, on my stream deck, it puts it in emote only mode, subscriber only mode. It does a bunch of things just at the
Exactly.
push of a
Yeah.
button, and that gives me time to address and figure out what I need to do. Yeah.
Oh, and remember, if you ever get a hate raid or if you get a follow bot or something bad happens, your community will come back. Even if they leave because of all the stuff
Yeah.
happening, which is
Yeah, they
completely
get it.
valid, they might come back. Yeah, but then
Yeah, they
another stream. It's
Mm.
you can also go offline. They're not winning if you go offline and you need a moment for yourself. They're not winning. You can go live again. So yeah. Cool. We have one of the guests that has to go, so we kind of have a hard stop today. Thank you, MissFiefie, for this
Mm.
question. I think it's a very interesting topic. It's also on my quest list, but like we went a little bit all over. So thank you for
Yeah.
putting this
I
up
assumed it
again.
would be, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And everybody in chat, thank you so much for being here. Oh, sorry, I see a question in chat. What's a hate rate? A hate rate is when a streamer gets raided with a big group of people that say very negative things about this person based on anything. Like, so they can come in and tell you you're a terrible person, and everybody is copying you're a terrible person. They happen less. I have a feeling. I luckily have never had one, but they are definitely a thing on Twitch for some streamers, and it can be very yeah intense
Discouraging,
if you have to
scary.
endure that. Yeah.
I always pretend that I don't know that it's people doing it. I just say like, "Oh, guys, there's a technical difficulty. Let me just fix it." Well, they don't even get that. They don't even get that
The
attention. Like, oh,
satisfaction. Yeah.
it's a person
Mm.
doing it. I just go, oh shit, it's glitching out. Let me fix this quick. I never acknowledge that it's people doing it. Like, I'm too
Nice.
stupid to know that it's people doing it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much. We're gonna raid out to someone who has been on this
Hold on,
show.
not so fast.
Oh.
Viev, thank you so much for being such a wonderful host. I had
Yes. Thank
a really
you.
good time. I think I speak for all three of us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for inviting us. And I can't wait to see everything on YouTube. And when are you gonna be live next time? Because we talked about
Yeah.
our schedules, but not about yours.
I said Sunday. I have my vacation at
Sunday.
on.
Yeah.
But I'll be live
Yeah, okay.
tomorrow. I am gonna play either World of Warcraft or Palia while chatting to my stream about my London trip. And then in the evening, I'll have Split Fiction with my best friend C. So yeah, I love doing Split Fiction with my best friend. She's an epic guest as well. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, follow me, guys, if you want.
With raid.
You're allowed to come back if you were one of the other people's persons.
Yeah. Follow all of them, you guys. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely follow the guest. I wanted to say thank you, Desca, for thanking me. We're gonna rate someone who has been on this show before. So let's have a little bit of love. Oh, the guest one isn't updated. I'm sorry, Nightly. I just typed them. Those were the guests last time. You can also follow them. They're awesome. Yeah, and I'm so grateful. So big shout out to Desca Gaming. Thanks so much for being here, MissFiefie and MissVadams. You were absolutely amazing, and thank you for all the interaction. Now we have this super fun thing that we do on every podcast. We're gonna wave awkwardly while we're raiding out. I don't have a stream ending screen, so we're gonna just do this for a little bit, okay? Until I feel
Okay.
like it's really awkward.
Oh yeah.
Let's do the regal. The regal.
Do
way.
it.
Oh yeah. Feels weird when you do both hands.
Yeah, that feels weird. Feels like a Lego man, you know,
Yeah.
how they have the twisting
It's
hands.
weird. Or
Yeah.
Barbies.
Bye,
Yeah,
chat. Thank you
Barbies.
so much for being here. Bye, Desca. Bye, MissFiefie. Bye, MissVadams.
Bye.
Keep on waving. You're doing great, people. Keep on
This is a
waving.
workout. Jesus. I went bold